Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and those beyond the binary. This is The Between. Welcome. My name is Alexander Rubitsky, and I will be the keeper for this gothic tale. My hunters may introduce themselves.
Hi there, my name is Wes Franks. I am the founder and creative director of Caring Cover Studios, Twitch stream as well here on Twitch. And for this evening, and for future evenings, I am portraying Ross Fontenot, the American.
Hello, I'm Meg. My pronouns are she, her. I'm currently a writer on DM's Guild, and for this here evening, I will be playing Carla Hus. And it is wonderful to have you all here tonight.
My name is Jordan. I'm a voice actor and musical composer, and tonight I'm going to be playing Dr. Cal Murdoch.
Hi guys, my name is Shelby, or Sheepy Doody Doo, or Whistle While You Work, and I'm going to be playing Pure Rivia tonight, our legacy. Also, these bruises are fake, guys, don't worry.
Indeed. Before we get started tonight, we have some thanks to give out. Special shout out to our sponsors over at Session Zero Clothing. They sell tabletop themed clothing and apparel, stickers, accessories, streetwear, you name it. You can find them online at S0 Clothing on Twitter. That was zero with the number. And at their website, session-zero.com. That's session-zero.com. And you can use the promo code failsafe for 10% off your order. They sell good things. Go buy them. And I believe without further ado, I think that is the extent of things to call out tonight. So I say we get started. How does that sound to you, hunters?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds to me.
Wonderful.
Sounds fantastic.
Then let us return to the streets of London for more of The Between. So, when we previously left the Hunters of Hargrave House, they had wrapped up a rather tense night phase with 3 of our hunters engaged in a game of hide-and-seek with the possessed Roger Beale, while Mr. Fontenot, engaged in his vice of opium, met a mysterious gentleman in a sun mask, and roughed up some Limehouse dock workers who tried to give him a hard time. And as we entered the day phase, I think we established that this day phase is a couple days later. Because Jordan, you were not here for this, I will remind you, and just a general reminder to the whole cast, day phases do not need to be the exact day that follows after the night. You can kind of time skip. So it is a couple days after the events of the hide and seek game. Ross walked the streets of London. I believe you were walking towards 18 St. James's Street to do some more investigation yourself, but on the way there, you put the pieces together. And would you like to just remind everybody, our distinguished guests listening in, what the answer to the question that you answered was?
Yes, so we answered the question, which part of the house is the ghost attached to? And we have decided that it is attached to not just the stairs, but the second floor landing as well. as the foyer. So a little kind of like a traveling moment. We've determined that that's where a lot of the incidents have occurred. So seems to be the place of its focal point. Seems to be connected to long lost owners of the house.
Indeed. And we also ended on a vulnerable move scene between Carla and Pyrrha, engaging in Pyrrha's vice, and they both cleared their conditions, a very intimate scene. And also, you decided to talk about your backstories instead of finding a clue. And you did, and it was a lovely scene. And I believe that catches us up to speed. With that said, Jordan, since you were not with us previously, do you want to queue up any scenes for Cal during this day phase? What do you want to do today with Cal? And as a reminder, sorry, because you also left before, I will remind you of the other threat that we introduced at the start of this day phase, which was the Limehouse Lurker. I'll read the text again once more, just so Jordan, I know you watched the VOD, but I'll repeat it out loud anyway.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah. So, as a reminder, Jenny Johnston, the proprietor of an opium den in Limehouse, tells you a story that has not yet reached Scotland Yard or the papers. 3 people have been found dead in recent days, the bodies completely exsanguinated. The first was a prostitute called Soft Jimmy, found in a dark corner of the opium den. The second was a young mother, Charla Bell, found in an alleyway behind the Limehouse School. And the third was a Chinese sailor, Zhao Donghai, found outside a pub near the Regent's Canal dock, the Dog and Whistle. Jenny, an informal community leader in Limehouse, has been keeping the bodies in her basement. She's hesitant to go to the authorities because she fears it'll cause trouble for the small but thriving Chinese immigrant community in the district. She heard that Hargrave House has experience with matters such as this and has asked for your help. Hargrave House knows about creatures that suck the blood of their victims. They are called vampires. A detail in Jenny's story convinced you all that this particular vampire has the body of a small child, which Pyrrha established. Oh, no. Was it Pyrrha? No, it was Ross. It was Ross, that's right. Which Ross established was that because reports say that the vampire child in question was seen, witnesses reported it wearing a child's raincoat. Like the kind of like, you know, very, very off-putting. And just because the vampire is physically a child doesn't mean it's young. Vampires never physically age beyond how old they were when they were turned, and an old vampire has to be handled in a very different way from a young one. So the question they start off with is deciding whether this vampire is young or old. So that is the Limehouse Lurker, the other active threat that is now available.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I believe we also are missing a flashback from Cal, are we not?
Oh, yes, very true. Last session, the Mask of the Unquiet was marked, and everyone but Dr. Murdoch got to narrate that. So as a reminder, that mask prompt is to narrate a flashback to your childhood when you experienced a haunting.
Okay. Cool. So I did write one up because I was thinking a lot about it. I do have some writing for it. Drip, drip, drip. A leaking pipe in a small apartment in Blackpool, England. A young Callum lays in his bed, sullen, sickly, and skinny to the bone, held by his young mother. To say that he had difficulty sleeping was an understatement. It was impossible. The busy life of England was constantly making noise, noise, noise. The dripping was making noise, noise, noise. Drip, drip, drip. Scuttle, scuttle, bustle, bustle. And then silence. Nothing is more eerie than silence. Young Callum rose out of his bed to investigate the newfound silence. The carpet gripped at his feet while he walked, the wooden flooring bit and chewed at his ankles. He stopped only to find a man in the doorway, tall, with short chestnut brown hair that coiffed to one side, and a full beard. He peered at the boy through black circular glasses and spoke with an American accent. "Dr. Murdoch. Oh, dear me, it seems I've appeared too early. Tell you what, why don't I stop by again later, when you're older, more experienced? Life's not quite done with you yet, Doctor. The man turns to leave. Wait! A small voice piped up, with newfound confidence. Who are you? A cacophonous chuckle echoed through the silent air. Callum, I think you know that already. The keeper lowers his glasses, gives a kind wink, and closes the door. Suddenly the sounds return to him. Noise, 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 scuttle, scuttle, bustle, bustle, drip, drip, drip. And that's it.
You are cheeky, Dr. Murdoch. I will give you that. But I will allow this. So, do you want to... what would you like to do during this day phase? 2 active threats, 1 close to being solved. You have some conditions of your own. The city of London is open to you, Dr. Murdoch. Go ahead and just let me know what you'd like to start off doing, and then we can frame up a scene for you in a bit.
I think the doctor is going to attend an open casket funeral today.
For the vulnerable move, reminder that you do have to do that with somebody else.
Oh, I have to do that with someone.
With
Never mind.
someone. You will have to take... you'll have to take someone with you, one of your fellow hunters, to do that scene. So is there a hunter you'd like to bring along with you for an open casket funeral at some point today?
You mentioned before that the doctor was taking day calls, right?
We have done some day calls, indeed, yes.
Done some day calls. Okay. Do you think I might be able to take a part at some point during those day calls?
If you'd like to acquire a part for the child, this is absolutely a time to frame that up. We can absolutely set something up for you in a moment. So ruminate on that, and I'll get back to you. Ross Fontenot, you've answered the question, but I believe you are also heading to 18 St. James's Street. So, what is your approach here, Dr. Murdoch? What do you do?
Well, I'm going to just, do the kind thing, the neighborly thing, and check on young, poor Roger and see how he's doing. Maybe speak to his mother for a little bit, trying to understand and see what might have caused this. What was Roger doing, trying to figure out something.
Indeed.
Get a little bit before we figure out our next step here.
Indeed. Yes, you show up outside 18 St. James's Street, the townhouse. Next door is the nosy neighbor Constance Head, lounging on a little garden front stoop table, just enjoying tea, who eyes you very intensely with great interest and yearning to speak with you, but does not leave her stoop, but she watches you walk all the way up to the front door. And leans to just see as much as she can. When you knock at the front door, there is a moment of pause before a gentleman opens it. You have not seen this gentleman before. He is of the same age as Alice Beale. He has a patchy beard. He's kind of fiddling his hands around in a couple of vest pockets. And as a little bit of a, visible weight to him, as he says, "Oh, yes, is there something I can help you with?"
In that time waiting for somebody to answer the door,
Indeed.
Looking at the next door neighbor, the nosy was it Mrs. Beale? No, that's not Mrs.
Constance
Beale.
Head.
Constance Head, that's right, Constance Head. It's just kind of like Ross will occasionally look over, do a little hat tip, do a little eyebrow, a wink kind of thing.
My, she just kind of says to herself.
Ross goes, "How the heck are you, Graflin Ross Fontenot? Pleasure to meet you there, mister." Stick a big hand out.
He doesn't fully leap backwards, but he certainly stumbles a little bit in surprise before his eyebrows finally return to their normal roost, and they, Harold Beale, at yours. He reaches forward to shake your hand tentatively and a little put upon. Might I ask what brings you to my home today, Mr. Fontenot. I got that right, yes, with
that's
your
right.
thick accent, hard to hear. Fontenot, understood.
Completely understandable. I'm from the Bayous, Louisiana there. Mr. Beal, it is a pleasure to meet you. I've already stepped foot in your home before, made a house call to your darling wife, met your the young mister, as well as your cook, Irma.
Yes,
pleasure,
you are,
pleasure indeed.
You're one of, yes, I remember now, my wife mentioned, you are one of those individuals from, what was it, Hargrave House?
Hargrave House, nailed it in one. There you go, yep.
Yes, thank you. The ghost investigators, pardon me, was it? Yes, yes, please, do come in. I never got to thank your associate, the sad one, the gaunt fellow, curly hair, brought my son back.
The doctor, yes.
Doctor, yes, pass my sincere regards.
Dr. Cal Murdoch, yeah, no, he's a great feller. Just
Indeed.
Top of the class, top marks, just wonderful. Speaking of great fellers, I have to say, I do admire your impeccable style. And is that sandalwood I smell? A little bit of lavender underneath your collar. Well, I do say you do have an impeccable sense for scents. Sense and sense. That's so fun. English language is so funny, isn't it?
It's certainly it is certainly a language. No, I'm afraid you are mistaken, Mr. Fontenot. I do not. It must be cleaning. Such fragrances, colognes, a little too pricey to indulge in. But thank you all the same. I appreciate it. Perhaps some of the house's charm has worn on me. Yes, indeed.
House's charm, indeed.
Is there something you wanted in particular, Mr. Fontenot?
Oh, dear me. I'm just a bit of a chatterbox. I'm like one of those moving picture shows that are starting to come out and about, just going on and going on, having music playing and not ever stopping. I just want to check on the dear young Roger here and also ask us a couple questions of Mrs. Beale, and I guess as well as you, just to kind of get a sense of what really happened to the young lad that night. He ended up on our doorstep so mysteriously, and that's quite a bit of a walk.
Yes, no, of course. I am perfectly happy to accept your help in this matter, but is it going to cost anything? I mean, Scotland Yard is free, and, that's one of its chief benefits, really.
I mean, we only take what you can give at Hargrave House and what you're willing to give, Mr. Beale.
Yes, understood. My wife is upstairs with Roger at the moment in his bedroom. He's been, I shall show you to them. Irma! And you hear a hefty sigh, and Irma Thicket, the cook, once more stomps up from the basement kitchen. Yes, Mr. Beale. The overwhelming scent of onion and tobacco rolls off of her like the waters of the Thames during the tide. And Mr. Beale says, could you show Mr. Fontenot here to Alice and my son? I will be in my quarters. He looks at you and he says, I've been working from the household since Roger was returned to us. Pardon me, accounting business. I'm sure that you don't have the time for large numbers and all that. Americans
completely
are so
understandable there, Mr. Bill.
Yes.
No need for me to worry me with details and numbers. I'll be in and out of your hair real quick.
Yes, of course.
Me and Irma have been well acquainted before. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise, please don't be a stranger. Do not hesitate to ask us anything should you need it. And he walks off into it.
Mr. Beale, before you go.
Yes?
My time spent on the northern shores of Iceland have taught me many a things, and it has helped me to know that when financial compensation, things of monetary like bills and coins are not made available, barter is always obliged. It is the purest form of economics, I believe.
Indeed. Well, I'm sure that something can be arranged. Irma. And Miss Dickens says, come on, this way, please.
Oh dear, Irma, I think that sandalwood and lavender was on you. I've been mistaken all over the place. Well, you're just drifting all over this house, aren't you?
I've been in the kitchen all morning cooking.
I did smell onions as well.
I'm not cooking with onions.
I might have to talk to Dr. Murdoch.
Fascinating. And you will head upstairs to speak with Alice and Roger. Pyrrha and Carla, you had a scene together, but separately together, what would you like? What else would you like to do during today?
I'm gonna be honest, Pyrrha might want to just go off on her own to do some preemptive scouting on
Excellent.
the lurker.
Fantastic.
Mostly because I want to try and answer one of my Dawn questions. So.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. Okay,
I
cool.
think Carla's also going to head that way, if going to speak with some of the people there and look for some signs of whether or not she knows this one, or maybe the one who turned this one.
Indeed. The questions
I'm
about...
specifically going to check the bodies. So
you're okay.
I won't be doing any cutting open of things, but I want to see if there's anything I've experienced, because that seems like that's Dr. Murdoch's
Indeed
gig to actually do an autopsy, but I would like to examine them first to see if I can find anything on them that might be like, my bag.
And I'm gonna ask people.
Fantastic. So just as a kind of narrowing in here. So as a reminder, the bodies are being stored at Jenny Johnston's Opium Den in Limehouse. That's where you can find the bodies. Now, Carla, you can of course speak with, you can go to the Opium Den, of course, if you want to, but there are also a few locations that were mentioned. The locations where the bodies were found, and also areas of interest, which would be the Regent's Canal Dock, the Dog and Whistle Pub, and the Limehouse School.
I think we'll do the school first.
Head to the school. Very well. Will do. And we'll get to those in a moment. Dr. Murdoch, you've had a moment to think on your activities today, and you wanted to acquire part of the child. What sort of calls are you looking to make? Looking to go in with a to the morgue or some other location in mind? Bodies can be found in many places in London. What are you thinking about? How can I help you frame this up?
Well, I was thinking, so he may not be doing autopsies on, the unfortunate victims of this supposed vampire in London, but he will certainly be doing autopsies regardless. Heading to the morgue, perhaps. Possibly, calling in to do a favor for the less equipped, less experienced doctor that was there before.
Jason Trent, the mortician of near St. James's Street. Yes, you may return to that place if you'd like, or if you may go to a different one. The choice is yours.
Okay, I think I will go there. I will go there and cover for him to do a little work myself.
Yes, it's been a couple days, so I think just for ease, we can establish that this is not a drop in unannounced. You put in a desire to do some work at that morgue alongside Dr. Trent and help him. Well, he's not a doctor; he's just a mortician. But alongside Mr. Trent, to take some of the slack. There have been plenty of bodies lately. So yes. All right, then at the morgue, then there are a few, people about. Jason Trent is, of course, there. Elbow-high rubber gloves, minding his own business. He's there with you. He's not leaving the morgue unattended, of course, but he is there with you. And I will say also, D.I. Pettigrew is also there. D.I. Pettigrew, once more, the detective inspector with Scotland Yard, who is familiar with you and your work, and also the work of Hargrave House, on a different case, though. But there are some vectors of risk present, of eyes on you.
Pull out the dice.
Yes, so you're looking to acquire a body part for the child. This is going to be a day move. I wouldn't say there's anything particularly dangerous, even though sometimes we can be a little bit flexible and use night moves and day moves interchangeably depending on danger levels. I think this is D.I. Pettigrew is a little swamped in the midst of a case right now, and Mr. Trent is dismissive enough, as we established in session 1, that this doesn't feel like a night move. So we'll have this be a day move. What are you looking to acquire here, Dr. Murdoch?
Let's acquire some guts today. Let's just get fucking elbow deep in there and I'm gonna just take some little meat rope and shit. You know what I'm talking about? Some intestines.
Yeah, some
maybe
sausage
a liver.
links.
I'm gonna grab 3 kidneys, just in case. Cal Murdoch is gonna get his hands fucking in there, and he is gonna love every second of it.
Indeed. You probably have like a very large, thick leather valise, like a medical bag, with you for this very purpose. Excellent. So this day move is going to be very simple, but I ask it all the same. What are you afraid will happen here if you are caught?
I'm afraid of getting caught, arrested, and losing my medical license, because I'm definitely stealing parts.
That is a list, so we'll at least start with arrested, and we'll go from there. Very well. That's very, very simple. Yes, I think that if you're trying to do this discreetly, this is going to be a day move plus Dr. Murdoch's composure. You are trying to keep it cool, and it's quite easy. You get you're doing an autopsy. You're doing a rifling through some guts. Very easy setup. So go ahead and roll. Plus, and now let's see. Well, actually, as always, I should remind you. Do you want to use any of your personal quarters items to get advantage on this roll, Dr. Murdoch?
Yeah. Well, actually, we'll use the medical texts.
You can never. Yeah, indeed, you are using those. I think that applies here. You are using those to anatomy charts and studies and how to. Well, actually, I would actually argue that would not come in handy in this role. That would come in handy if you were reasoning. This is for working
this
efficiently and yeah, it's more finesse. Although I could possibly see an argument for marking your ancient forceps, for just extra tools that are ancient but reliable. They're old but reliable.
I think I don't want to use them yet.
Very well.
But I do have an idea for those.
Alrighty. Then you may attempt a day move plus your composure.
And that's just 2d6, right? For a day move?
Yes.
Okay.
For every move.
We're rolling. All right. So we have a 6 and a 4 plus 1. So that is an 11.
An 11. Fantastic, Dr. Murdoch. On a 10 plus, you do what you intend. Describe what it looks like as you sneakily remove the guts from this corpse and stow them away without getting caught.
It's very quick. It's very clear that he has done this before to get parts that he found were inadequate later on, but it was almost seamless. It was as if he pulled out a part to look at it and then set it back inside, but he slipped it in his bag while, dear Trent was turned around. Intestines, pancreas, just kidneys, all the little pieces that could slowly come together, liver, everything and anything that's inside besides the heart and lungs, because otherwise that might be a little too much before it becomes a bit too fishy. But he holds them in his hands. They're soft. It's almost like they could be punctured so easily. He has to be very careful when he puts these in. There's little separate compartments in his bag that are lined with this plastic cleanable lining, almost like he just repurposed this office bag for his own side of work. He sets them all aside. Very special compartments. They're all labeled with specific things. And again, it's quick. It's seamless. And it's almost like he wasn't even there.
Fantastic. And I say that this is most likely a fresh body. Very recently deceased, and luck have it, Dr. Murdoch, This will most likely be an open casket funeral. Nobody needs to concern themselves with the interior of this corpse. A little stuffing after your work is done and suturing. No one will ever know what was taken from this body. As per your move, Dr. Murdoch, you may now check off guts on your list of components, and you must also now narrate a brief, pleasant memory of the person you lost that is triggered by holding these guts in your hand.
Quite honestly, it would probably be the first day that they met. It was truly a core memory for Cal, as the first day that they met, it was as if they clicked immediately. Excitement overcame the two when they came together, forming a bond that would last, almost like brothers. You know, it just truly is his best friend.
I love that. Very, very good. Thank you, Dr. Murdoch. All right. Let us do some stuff in Limehouse now, I think. Let's see. I'm going to start with the Opium Den. Why not? We'll start with Pyrrha. Why don't we? Very well. So, Pyrrha. Let's see. Where did I put that sheet? There it is. So you arrive in Limehouse, these dockside neighborhood, a little grungier, but has a small but thriving Chinese immigrant community. Today, it is a bright and sunny day. The sun practically assailing you. It is a hot, late summer day. And you find yourself to Jenny Johnston's Opium Den, a dim and smoky locale with a heavy ammonia-like smell to it. And various people are here, lounging on cushions, smoking, imbibing opium. And Jenny herself is present. Let's see. Just double check my list here. Yes, Jenny is here. She is a Chinese woman with a very soothing disposition. Pretty, but faded. She's wearing a dark taffeta gown. But the Opium Den, looking around, seems to be very successful. And we have a paint the scene question here at the Opium Den. So, people from all walks of life patronize Jenny Johnston's. What do you see here that indicates this? Everyone may contribute a detail.
There's a man who's sitting in one of the corners, and every so often he pulls out a pocket watch, and it is engraved with the symbol of the House of Parliament. He's dressed down, so otherwise you would not be able to tell, but every so often he pulls out a little bit more coin than other people, a little more finer details, and he disappears back into the haze.
Sorry. Over one of the chairs, there is what looks like some sort of prayer mat left by probably a frequent patron of this establishment, maybe used to ask for forgiveness after indulging in such vices.
There is a door with no handle that says employees only, or not employees only, but it says not open to customers
Oh, very
on
nice.
it, but there's no handle, and there's beads in front of it. And nobody has ever seen somebody go in or out of that door.
There are scratch marks on the ceiling in one of the corners of the room. There's never an explanation for it, but there are scratch marks in the ceiling.
That does indeed encapsulate all walks of life, even things that don't walk in the light, perhaps. Very well. I like that. Yes. And fun fact, I rarely call out things from the chat, but I will call this one out because it is a fun fact. The games writer, Jason Cordova, based Jenny Johnston on an actual figure from history, Johnny Johnston, a Chinese man who ran the largest opium den in London. So, yeah, there's a fun little fact for you. And additionally, and there's another interesting figure present here, Pyrrha, as you're walking through. A man. You would assume a man just by the shape, but he is completely covered. You cannot discern his identity. He wears a gold smoking jacket, yellow silk pants, soft slippers, and a sun mask upon his face. And he watches you the whole time you're in here.
Well, I wanted to before I talked to
Yes.
our lovely hostess here, I wanted to try and sit and see if I could catch any conversations being had. But if this guy's just staring at me, I'm just gonna go saunter over very casually. Because fuck you, you ruined my chance of answering my Dawn question, you dick.
What ruined how, Miss Rivia? Go unnoticed. Go unnoticed in a public space.
I wanted to go unnoticed.
Well, perhaps.
No, it's okay.
No, perhaps after you speak with him, you will have no eyes on you. That is, he definitely seems interested, though.
No, if he's clearly watching me, then that interests me, and I want to get acquaintance with some patrons before I go get the story from the source. I want to see what people are saying first.
Of course. You approach the man in the sun mask?
Very casually. I want to make it like it's not because he was staring, just like, oh, there's an empty seat. This looks like a comfortable spot. It's away from the scratches in that corner.
You are most welcome to sit here, Miss Rivia.
I don't remember saying my name now.
Indeed not, but I have met one of your fellow compatriots of Hargrave House, Mr. Ross Fontenot, the American fellow. Yes, and also, well, we have met before. Well, not you, but another you.
Which one? I know, we're like cockroaches and we're everywhere. Just which one?
Not one of your distinguished family, Miss Rivia. I mean you. I have met you before, though you have not met myself. I must say, Miss Rivia, of all the worlds I have seen, sometimes there are still surprises to be had. Your ears are round here. How fascinating. I think being human suits you best, in this world at least.
How much have you been smoking? I think you've had a little too much, my friend.
Indeed. But please do not let me interrupt your work. I will just be minding my own business now. It is good to meet this you for the first time. It shall not be the last.
What the fuck is this man? What the fuck is this guy, bro? What the shit?
Parrot thinks he's a fucking druggie, but Shelby is secretly screaming at Alex.
Oh, damn.
Does he stay there or does he leave? Or?
No, he's staying there. He's continuing to sit. Unless you do want to try and pry some information out of him, you're welcome to.
Absolutely. I was gonna say she just kind of leans back a bit more comfortably. Well, since you wanted to be so chatty and you seem to know at least somewhat about my business, you heard the rumors.
Go ahead and roll an information move plus your presence as you converse with the man in the sun mask.
That's not going to be great. I don't have great presence.
No, you do not. Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it's a -1. Yes, -1.
Oh, good heavens. Oh, no.
Do you see me?
Oh, good.
Do you see me?
Oh, good heavens. Oh, good heavens.
Don't ask me how I go home with strangers all the time.
It's,
Oh, good heavens.
it's your looks. It's your presence. Some people like that.
So 2d6 minus 1.
Oh, that's so...
One.
What'd you roll, Shelby?
Rolled a 2, but it subtracts a 1. So
Oh, incredible. Incredible. That is a miss. It is a miss. A lovely...
that is God.
Let's
how the morning is starting.
see. What do I want to do with a miss? Let me consult my list as always.
You know, I do all of this work. I get so dolled up for this, and my dice just can't reward me for it.
Indeed. Let's see. You're talking to the man in the sun mask.
I'm just gonna...
This feels... Oh, this is a good one. I need to think on this. I will get back to you. I need to ruminate on this for a little more. We'll jump over to Carla.
Right.
So let's see. I think on your way to the Limehouse School, we'll, yes, let me change the music real quickly. Let's see. So, you make your way through the streets of Limehouse, not quite along the bustling dockfront of Regent's Canal, but you do show up outside the Limehouse School, a filthy establishment here to cater to all sorts of young kids, filthy children, a frustrated mistress that storms away from a group of girls who are decidedly not learning how to sew. The general smell of unwashed bodies here, a filthy place. Paint the scene question for this would be: workhouses like this are where poor children are sent to be managed until they're old enough to be turned out. What signs of deprivation do you see?
The air stinks of old stale urine.
There is a small serving line where food can be found, and it is day-old bread at best and moldy beef at worst.
It is currently the aftermath of a fist fight between two of the people there. There's still a little bit of blood from one of their noses on the floor that has yet to be cleaned up.
There is a nest. It is a crow's nest that has been formed in the corner of a rundown shack, a building that's fallen down, and it is filled with little trinkets and shiny baubles. And you can see there's a homeless man trying his best to try to get the nest, but he can't. He just can't. It is out of reach for him.
Fantastic. Lovely. Well, Miss Hulst. Yeah, so you're here now. The filthy, unwashed bodies of children and others pressing close to you here. What are you looking to do here?
I am looking to talk to somebody who was there around the night, or who, basically the person who found the body early in the morning, or whenever this body was found.
Indeed. Let me take a look here very quickly.
Which body was found here again?
This, Charla Bell, a young mother, was found in an alleyway here, yes.
So yeah, so she's looking to either talk to one of the parents or one of the school teachers, maybe the janitor.
I'd say that you know that Charla Bell does have a husband, but he is not present here. However, there is a headmaster here. if you'd like to
I'll
speak.
talk
And
to
we can
him
say that the
then.
headmaster.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. You see yourself through uniformly filthy hordes of foul-mouthed children, who I will get back to them in a minute, though, if you decide to talk to them later. But for now, you see yourself to the office of Lawrence Chesterfield, the headmaster of the Limehouse School. This man in a brown three-piece suit. It seems very, very fidgety. And when you enter, there is a gasp that just gently escapes him as he sees you enter, and he says, "Oh dear me, are you perhaps lost? What brings you here?"
I am here on behalf of an investigative agency within our dear fair city. And I would just like to ask you a couple of questions about...
Please, do not tell me that you are here about those nonsensical vampire rumors.
No, I'm here about the dead bodies. I just want to ask you and perhaps a couple people on the ground some questions, and then we can put this whole matter beside us.
Do you work with Scotland Yard? Are the authorities involved?
No, I'm working with a private group.
Are you perhaps going to quash those rumors of nonsensical bloodsuckers?
Of course.
Oh,
there's no such thing.
goodness.
She says, smiling.
Of course, yes. Please, madam, take a seat.
She does.
Just in the office. He sits behind his desk as well. Before we begin, I just want to make it abundantly clear that I barely knew the victim, Charla Bell. She did some work here with the children from time to time, teaching them how to mend and wash, that sort of thing, but I never sat down and talked to the woman, and I certainly do not believe any of these ridiculous rumors. So, beyond that, hopefully I can be of some assistance.
You see that Carla is very, she's sitting very proper. She's dressed well, but not overtly so. And she's just kind of, running a finger through her hair. So tell me, what did you find?
Yes, let us... I think this will be a information move plus your presence. It sounds like you're leveraging your looks here.
She is 100% playing up the fact that she is the most beautiful thing this place has seen in decades.
Yes, and because you have your unquenchable thirst move, you get to take advantage whenever you leverage your looks on presence moves.
That's a 12.
Ooh, that means you get a mastermind clue.
I do.
Fascinating.
Indeed.
In addition to the other one, let's see. What shall I pick? We are at 3. This is the 4th mastermind clue.
This is the 4th.
That is exciting, is it not?
Very exciting.
I will... Let's see. Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. I'll do this one. It's a very simple one. I like it. And as for the actual clue for this mystery, let's see what Mr. Chesterfield is willing to tell you. You're mostly inquiring about, remind me just the general line of inquiry you're going for here.
She's looking for anything that he found with the bodies. Anything unusual, anything suspect. She's not trying to, play into the rumors, but she's just curious if there's anything amiss.
Absolutely. Let's see. Amiss when he found the body, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
excellent.
Amiss when he found the body.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll go with this one. This seems like a good one. Mr. Chesterfield says, well, It was particularly strange, though things here in Limehouse are indeed not the most clean. Sometimes, when I found poor Miss Bell, there were, let us just say that blood was not the only thing present at the scene of her grisly murder. There was also a fair amount of, forgive me, this is going to sound rather absurd, but
I've heard far worse.
there was milk and candies, all sorts of sweets, just spattered about the place. Very strange. Mixed in with the blood. It was not the most pleasant smell, but that did strike me as odd.
Very particular serial murderer.
And your eyes drift to something on Mr. Chesterfield's desk as you're speaking to him. This morning's newspaper, the Morning Chronicle. There is he has it folded open to the front page lead story, which catches your eye. A pile of roses, dyed sapphire blue, were left at the Queen's chambers, at the door to the Queen's chambers in Buckingham Palace. No one knows who left them there. There's your mastermind clue.
So blue roses are the mastermind clue, and the candies left at the scene.
Yeah.
The violently discarded milk and sweets at the crime scene were the capital C clue for this lurker.
Aces. Perfect.
Excellent. And we'll leap away from that for a moment. I think that's a good place to kind of pause as you're talking to Mr. Chesterfield. Let's go back to Ross. It's been a while. You go upstairs into St. James Street up to Roger's bedroom, where Roger is lying in bed. His mother, Alice, is currently looking over him, tending to him. And as you kind of saunter in, Alice turns and says, Harold, would you... Oh, Mr. Fontenot, forgive me. I did not realize that you were here. She like stands up and like kind of like pats Roger's head. Yes, what is there something new to your investigation, or what may I do for you?
We are currently working on a few angles. We've figured out one important piece of information that's going to really help us with the rest of this. I just wanted to check on dear Roger and you as well.
Oh, yes, of course. Roger, he has been getting quite better. Once more, please, I cannot thank Dr. Murdoch enough for seeing him home safely. I still haven't the foggiest how he got out under our watch.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Alice, if I may call you Alice. And yes, Cal is a good man, an even better doctor, but I think it's very important that we figure out exactly how Roger made his way out of your home and all the way down to Hargrave House.
Yes,
It's quite the trek.
As I mentioned, I haven't the foggiest how he got out. But if you would like to have a look around the place, by all means, do not let me stop you. But do you think this is going to happen again?
It might. I don't want to lie to you. If we don't stop this entity, then you are going to be visited and harassed for many, many years to come.
What?
But me and my associates are going to be doing our best to make sure that we take care of this for you. Toot sweet, so to speak.
Of course.
Perfect.
What would you like to do here then? You basically... What line of investigation would you like to undertake? Because it sounds like you're queuing up wanting to do an information move to like find some even more clues.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking to do here in the house to investigate this?
So, kind of moving towards answering this quieting ritual. I would like to figure out this quieting ritual. I would like to find another kind of like I'm kind of looking to see if there's any kind of like secret hidey holes, places to get things that we should be on the lookout for, essentially for like entrances and exits, things that maybe that helped Roger get out, and seeing if there's any clues there that might help with the quieting ritual. See if there's anything left behind. Any kind of ectoplasm or things of that nature, though I do not know what ectoplasm is. That is for our dear friend Dr. Murdoch. I just know that it's good.
I don't know what fucking ectoplasm is. The fuck? That doesn't come out of human bodies.
That's my fucking specialty. Jesus Christ.
All right, well, you know what? There's somebody here that knows ectoplasm.
I can take it out if you want.
I love this. So you're essentially trying to like snoop around and like find that sounds like an information plus reason.
Perfect.
Is there anything that you can do to give yourself advantage on that?
Most certainly. I am going to be using my cigarette lighter to kind of hold up to different areas to see if wind moves in different areas.
I think that's excellent. You may mark off the old lighter and roll an information move plus your reason with advantage, Mr. Fontenot. Almost called you Dr. Murdoch. How silly.
That's fine. That's the other
Dr.
guy.
Murdoch.
Sheesh. That is an 8.
An 8. Clue of the complication.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I know what the complication here is going to be. It's not going to be a condition, so actually this stands, but it'll be a, well, I'm thinking now. Consult my lists once more. No, I actually, we'll see. I'm thinking on that, but yes, I will go ahead and give you the clue as I think on this. Yes, all right, very well. I'm gonna have you go down into the basement. You kind of like search around the house. The two areas of the house you have not actually been to yet. Any of you have been the attic and the basement. So we'll have this down be in the basement. So this is where the kitchen and servants' quarters of the house is, and there is a paint the scene question attached to it. What evidence do you see here that shows how, historically, the servants of 18 St. James's Street have protected themselves from the ghost?
There is smoke on the walls that has a very heavy scent of burning sage and Palo Santo.
There are sigils carved above every single archway and door. Little marks, some of them painted, some of them just etched into the wood, or in the stone, but every single archway, every single windowsill.
There is a cross with good old Jesus up on it. It is currently on the floor, shattered in several pieces.
There is a stack, about 5 to 6 portraits that have been defaced by markings or the eyes being cut out, things of that nature of the Beals. And it seems that part of the one of the reasons that's kind of lending into them kind of losing money is apparently the need to have a family portrait that hasn't been defaced yet. It's all about, the look of status.
Interesting. Ooh, I like those. Thank you, hunters. I have an idea for this reaction. Just don't know how to incorporate it. That's always the tricky thing, isn't it? For now, I will give you the clue. So down in the basement, you can hear Irma cooking in the adjoining kitchen. Still that heavy scent of onions and tobacco coming from the other room. You do find there is actually a door down here in the basement that actually seems to have been covered up by some like plaster, like some of like the like peeling wallpaper and plaster walls, I should say. covered up an old door that you kind of detect little cracks in the wall that do indeed blow a draft that catches the flame of your lighter. It seems like there is a door that has been hidden behind the plaster here. I will assume that you are going to reveal this door. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's actually it actually does have a faint seam, so it's not like you have to like fully cut it open, but you do like pry it open because you find that this door is somehow held firmly shut. And you pry it open. Yes, there is an old door that I'll say leads to somewhere like like an old side boarded up room or boarded up like kind of like small space in the house that could be used to like sneak out. That's not the creepiest part though. The creepy part is the sound of soft weeping coming from somewhere beyond this door.
I like that.
Yeah. Ross is going to gently close the lighter and is going to move his coat to the side where you see the big fuck off Bowie knife and is going to gently unclasp it and is going to step into the room slowly.
Oh, fuck off Bowie knife, baby. Let's go.
You hear this soft weeping coming from this cloistered, forgotten corner of a cellar that does have a little dusty basement window that could be a small child could shuffle out onto the street from this forgotten little corner of the house. But you hear there's like, as I mentioned, there were like servants' quarters in the basement, and it seems like maybe this room, it maybe was an extension of the servants' quarters from, the previous tenants at least, maybe older. There is the frame of an old bed here, kind of like a rotting straw mattress, and the weeping is coming from that bed. And there is indeed a shape under the kind of threadbare blanket that covers to it, a human shape that is curled up. You can see the shoulders kind of moving with each gasping sob that escapes. I'm going to have you do a day move, because as per the description is, whenever you face something you fear, this comes into play. So this is going to be a day move plus your composure to keep your nerve. Or, well, no, you're not engaging. You're not engaging with the ghost, so it's not going to be sensitivity. So this is going to be plus your composure. What are you afraid of happening here if you lose your nerve, Ross?
I'm afraid of accidentally murdering somebody that shouldn't be murdered.
Fascinating. I love that. Go ahead and roll.
No.
Not quite night move worthy here, but maybe. We'll see how things get.
That is an 11 plus 1. That is
1.
12.
Fantastic. You hold steady.
Rock solid composure.
Describe what this looks like, and as you enter this space, you see this, and you feel the pang of fear wash over you, but you overcome it. Describe. Set the scene. Tell me what happens here.
Ross almost reaches out for the door to back out again, seeing that there's actually somebody in here. But then Ross realizes, oh wait, no, I'm about 6'4", 6'5". I'm built like a brick shit house. I've faced worse than this. And Ross looks at a chair that is sitting across from the bed. And Ross is going to pull the big knife out and is just going to move the chair around so it's facing the back of it, facing towards the bed, and is going to lean down calmly and sit down in the chair with the knife out. And is going to look at the crying mass, is going to go, now, what's with all that caterwauling now? No need to cry.
The bed sheet falls on itself, revealing nothing there. But interestingly, Ross, you see that the old pillow is wet with tear stains. but all goes quiet once again. The complication was that. So there you go. You held fast. Good job, Ross. Let's jump over to Dr. Murdoch. After having acquired some guts, what are you looking to do today? You have a part for the child. Any other scenes you want to set up for yourself? You want to do vulnerable moves at any point, or investigate anything, or whatever you want?
Honestly, maybe it's time to investigate those bodies. Do a little autopsy on those. I'm in an autopsying mood
Go
today.
to the Opium Den at Jenny Johnston's. Very well. Okay, cool.
I don't think I'll steal a part this time, but I think
No.
I'll definitely take a little look around. You know what I mean?
Then you'll also go to Jenny Johnson, so I will address that in a moment.
Yes.
Great. And actually, I'll go ahead and jump over to Pyrrha then, as Dr. Murdoch will arrive on the scene as well. And certainly, this is how I'm going to segue into answering your dust question, or dawn question, is the arrival of another hunter present will certainly draw all the attention off of you, so you can go unnoticed through the space once more. But we have to resolve what happens with the man in the sun mask first.
How'd that one I rolled go?
Here's how that goes. A one at some point during your conversation with the man in the sun mask, he offers you opium at one point.
I'll take it. I know Pyrrha. She'd take that shit immediately, all right? If sex wasn't her vice, fucking opium would be, all right?
The man in the sun mask says,
I do find the tinctures that your friend Mr. Fontenot offered to be quite effective, but the smoke of the pipe is what I find most divinely useful in witnessing the other worlds, Miss Rivia. Did you know the other you is much happier, much freer? I can show you sights that you would not believe.
What are you talking about?
Turn around, Miss Rivia.
Are we still in the whole hear the outcome before you can pick a mask thing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then yeah, she'll do it. She's high as hell, so
you
she'll
feel
do
this
it.
deep opium haze, and then you hear shifting behind you. It's almost like the visuals of the Opium Den almost like fade away in the opium haze. You don't see other people. You don't see much of your space. You just darkness and clouds and the presence of the man in the sun mask behind you as you don't see this, but he lifts the mask from his face, reaches around you, and places the mask over your face so that darkness takes you, and he whispers,
Besides the sons of other worlds, there is also darkness unimaginable, unthinkable. Embrace that darkness, Miss Rivia.
and you are subject to a terrifying, vivid vision of a fathomless ocean of blood that you find yourself drowning in, kicking, screaming, gasping, but surrounding you in this crimson expanse are countless millions echoes of yourself also drowning in this crimson tide. Some have found safety among jagged rocks, others are barely treading water, but I'm going to give you the unremovable condition, because this is such a bad role, the unremovable condition that says echoes of the self.
I would like to put a mask on. I want to put a mask on. Please let me put a mask on. I don't want this.
Fucking, excuse me. The fuck does that do?
Very.
I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out.
Worst trip.
Very well. This will not happen, Miss Rivia. I will ask you, do you wish to don a mask of the past, mask of the future, or, in an extremely fitting one I might add, would you like to don the mask of the sun, the unique mask of this threat, which, might I add, mask of the sun is extremely apt for this exact scene right now.
I am going to say mask of the past.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, what the fuck?
Too many visions. Too many visions.
Yeah, too many
Fair enough.
visions. Too many visions. So, do you want me to do my flash? I can do my flashback now if you'd like me to.
Let's see your prompt, of course. I want to hear that first. So that is...
It is narrate a flashback to your early teen years where you tried to live a normal life, but a family member put you in your place.
Let's, yeah, if you would like to do that now, you may do that now.
When this strange man says how she was so happy in this other world, in this opium-fueled haze, she kind of just stares off into the middle distance as the entire scene fades away. And we dive a little deeper into the past of the legacy. Scene opens with what looks like the docks of London. It's night, not too late at night, but it's night. And we see what look like two teenagers walking along the docks of London. One is a very tall, heavily built man with young man with shaggy brown hair, lots of freckles, and a very thick Irish accent. The other is an average height young woman with ashy blonde hair, green eyes, and a very distinct lack of scars. Pyrrha, she was much younger. They're holding hands, laughing, talking, and eventually share a very innocent little kiss. This camera dissolves as a teenaged Pyrrha is climbing back into her window in Hargrave House late at night. But before her boots even touch the wooden floors, a hand grabs her by the arm and pulls her further into the room, and a candle lights the furious face of Pavel Rivia, Pyrrha's uncle, the one that took custody of her when her father died. He's red-faced, angry, and he just growls, "How many times have you been told you aren't to meet that boy again? I'm sick and tired of your priorities always being elsewhere. You are a hunter, Pyrrha." And she just clenches her teeth and says, "But I want to be normal. I'm tired of this training, the fighting, the studying, the blood. I just want to live my own life. One that doesn't end up in me dying. Is that so much to ask? You aren't normal, Pyrrha. You are a Rivia. You don't have the option to be normal. Fuck's sake, one less Rivia isn't going to ruin us. I want to live a life that doesn't end in being ripped apart. Why the fuck should I have to die? Why should I have to be responsible for killing that thing? It's not my fucking fault. You woke it up." And her words are cut off as there is a sharp crack as Pyrrha's uncle backhands her, and she is sent to the floor. His face is absolutely livid red. He's shaking with rage as he just glares down at his niece before he takes a deep breath and says, "This entitlement ends now. It's clear you have had too much freedom, but not anymore. You won't be leaving this manor without the chaperone. Apparently you aren't ready for the world we live in and what it has for you. I'd suggest resting, girl. Sunrise, your training intensifies." And he walks out. Just before this scene fades, another person enters the room, another boy, Pyrrha's age, with a strikingly similar face to her brother. He just sits beside her, puts a hand around her shoulders, doesn't say anything. They just sit there, almost like they're speaking in a language that only they know. And she just leans her head on her brother's shoulder, and the scene fades as soft crying can be heard from the room.
Fantastic. Thank you, Pyrrha. I think that you will this bumps your roll to a clue with a complication. And I think the mask is still put upon you in this scene. However, you don't have a terrible vision. You have this kind of opiate high of just kind of like swing, this moment of not calm, just reflective, kind of centering feeling. But eventually, as it dims, the mask is doffed from you, and by the time you turn around, the mask has already been reaffixed to the face of the man. He says to you,
"Like I said, Miss Rivia, I find the opiates to do a wonderful job of bringing clarity to an otherwise tumultuous storm that is the psyche. Wouldn't you agree?"
He leans back a little bit, and he says,
"There are strange things afoot here indeed, as I'm sure you are investigating. I won't trouble you much longer. I can tell that you wish to walk through this joint unnoticed. I myself can relate. I wear this mask to go unnoticed. Being a member of the royal family, I should like to remain anonymous while indulging in my vices. That said, I was noticed not too long ago. A voice from the shadows, not long since. I am often undisturbed, but this voice from the shadows chided me for indulging in my vice. It is not often that I do not see the answers, but I did not see who asked, or rather, who told me such. But I think this to be pertinent to the case you are investigating."
Interesting.
He nods, and here's the clue of the complication. It's not going to be a complication. I'm going to actually do a keeper reaction here that you guys unlocked last session. And let's see, which one will I do? I'm gonna do this one. The man in the sun mask says,
"And as an additional kindness, Miss Rivia, you are walking down many paths, but this one in particular, this blue-tinted road, it will lead you to something quite unique. What is the saying? Know thyself, but also know thy enemy. Your friend, Miss Holst, will have noticed a particularly interesting story today. I'm sure she will confer such with your group at some point. That said, I have seen my fair share of indulgences. Beyond this den, of course, many parties and interesting gatherings happen in our fair city, and just beyond, it was not but only a handful of years ago, back in 1857, I believe, infamous masquerade balls held at a sizable estate outside this city, events that are now quite legendary for their debauchery on offer. This manor, these parties, they belong to a name you are familiar with, Theodora Brathwaite. You've seen it, have you not? Hinted at it, tugging at the back of your mind that there is more? Well, I will tell you this. The story your friend will report on has a great and lengthy history. For you see, Queen Victoria at this time having embraced a program of morality and piety from her subjects, had threatened to seize Brathwaite Hall if those gatherings continued. There was quite a rift, a schism between Miss Brathwaite and our fair queen after that. Do with this information what you will.
That is not a mastermind clue. That is just a reaction where I will tell you more of the history of the mastermind in chunks. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Felt appropriate in the moment.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll type that up for you to have reference to on our break.
She just nods along and she's listening and you sound like they're about to get a bit interesting around here.
Indeed. But the Man in the Sun Mask will now leave you alone, and you may now go about the space unnoticed. And you said you wanted to do some listening from the patrons without just eavesdropping.
Yeah, and also she's kind of high on opium now, so yeah, she's just gonna be listening.
Absolutely.
I think Pyrrha. This is why Pyrrha needs a chaperone. Stay on task.
I actually think that the Man in the Sun Mask did this with the intent of, you have now blended in here so well from indulging in opiates and speaking. No one is noticing you now. And Dr. Murdoch has arrived as well. Not even your companion, Dr. Murdoch, notices you as you wander through the space, listening. We'll get back to you in a moment. And then I want to resolve Dr. Murdoch's role. We'll look at Carla very quickly. Then I think we'll
My role?
Yeah, because you wanted to go look at the bodies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what did I
Yeah,
roll?
we'll do a quick little bit of roleplay here, actually. So then you, let's see. So, Dr. Murdoch, you arrive at Jenny Johnson's Opium Den. Jenny Johnson herself sees you arrive, and she says, you are Dr. Murdoch.
That I am.
Yes. I've heard a great deal of what business Hargrave House gets up to. I was hoping that this could remain discreet.
Oh, as it always will be. May I see to the bodies that you may possibly have?
Please,
he
Dr. Murdoch,
mechanically lowers his tone a bit.
Yes, please. Keep your voice low. I do not want to raise any unwarranted suspicions and alert the others. Follow me. I think she's going to take him through that door that no one ever goes through.
Hey, yo!
I think that's a great detail. It's I think that, she's going to go through the door that no one ever goes through and takes you down into the, cellar where these three bodies are kept. She sees you to these bodies and points you at each one. Soft Jimmy, the young prostitute, Charla Bell, the young mother, and Zhao Donghai, the Chinese sailor. All of them, very clearly, they have bite marks in their necks, and they are basically porcelain white. They have been fully exsanguinated of blood.
Okay.
And
right.
Jenny Johnson says, is there anything I can do to help you, Dr. Murdoch, or shall I return upstairs and tend to my patrons?
Yes, all that I require is just some space.
And I am more than happy to give it to you. Please, let me know if you need anything. And she will see herself back up to the main floor. What are you looking to analyze here, Dr. Murdoch?
So, Dr. Murdoch sets the bag that he had acquired the pieces with. He sets it on the side of the table there. The first thing that we are going to do is inspect the bite marks. I guess his main intention is to kind of engage in some forensics, maybe seeing if there was any saliva or anything left behind.
So
possibly
just a
that might
general
be able to help.
investigating the bodies. We'll chalk it up to that. Okay, we'll keep that vague enough. Yeah, I love that.
And he's kind of investigating, he sort of chuckles to himself and looks back over to the bag. Vampires. Doesn't that seem odd to you? To explain that someone could live for as long as they have, it doesn't make any sense. What do you think? And as he kind of goes through this conversation with
Mental
the bag.
conversation with the bag. Oh, that's good. That's
he's
great.
speaking out loud, but he's just kind of having
You're
this
talking to the bag. Okay.
this one-sided conversation, almost that all of the words, the bag just agrees with him, with everything that he's saying, almost like, you know, very, very loyal, very following, but he just checks these little pieces.
I love that.
He checks the holes. This is about the space of 4 teeth.
So go ahead and roll a information move plus reason. And
Oh, I love reason rolls, baby.
Yeah.
I don't think I could use my medical text with this one.
I don't
Do you
think
think
so
this might be
either.
something that's science has left me a bit unprepared with?
Yes. That condition sounds like it's absolutely coming into play.
Okay, so I'm rolling 3, and then I will take the 2 lowest, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Unless you wanted to check off like, I don't think any of your personal quarters items apply here. Yeah. So go ahead. It's going to be with a disadvantage then. Go ahead and make the roll.
All right. Ooh. Okay. So we're rocking 4, 3, 7 plus 2. Okay, so that's a 9.
Clue of the complication. Very well. Let's see. What am I going to pick here? There's some good options. Okay. This is going to be interesting to phrase. But I'm going to do my best, and we can we're going to still leave it vague enough, but the forensic analysis here is very cut and dry. Bite marks, complete exsanguination of the victims, but you notice something that tickles at the back of your mind, Dr. Murdoch. That same tickle you felt at at Hargrave House when you had the 17 steps, that faint pulling at your mind, that there's more to this than meets the eye, and a thorough examination of not the state of the bodies themselves, but what they are wearing. Each body has had something taken from them in a set of 3. Things are common on each of these people. That, they have 3 sets of things of the same thing that were on them. Actually, no, not even the same thing. Just like exactly 3 things are missing from each of these people. Art, maybe articles of like pieces of clothing or buttons or
Body parts, perhaps?
even
Maybe
body
3
parts.
fingers,
Yeah, absolutely. So
3
just in
toes?
general, we'll keep it vague enough to say with each victim, things in sets of 3 have gone missing.
Okay.
That's what you noticed there. Let's see. Carla, was there anything you were hoping to accomplish else from the school?
Yes, actually. As she's going past, as she's walking out and saying, "Thank you for your time."
Yes, of course.
Some of my associates may be around just to check the area discreetly, but I promise that we will be out of your hair as soon as possible. And thank you for your hospitality.
Of course. Happy to be of service.
Mm-hmm. And as she's walking out, and she gets past the headmaster and through the halls, she sees like a small crowd of children who are very clearly not paying attention to class.
Mm-hmm. You actually see that they are they are whispering amongst themselves, eagerly talking about the vampire, the rumors,
and
what they know and what they have
Mm-hmm.
seen.
So she reaches into her pouch and she's going to actually take out one. She's going to reach into that little box of engagement rings. She's going to pull out the one with the largest diamond, and she's going to kneel down to the kids. Hello there.
They look up at you, wide-eyed, and they see this shiny little thing.
Keep your voices down. Whoever can give me the most interesting little bit of information about this vampire gets this right.
Oh,
So start telling me. Come on.
That's an information move plus your reason, absolutely with advantage. However, you still have some
I do.
conditions. You're still violated. I think that's going to get in the way. So if you want,
Okay.
if you're checking off the engaged ring, that'll just make it a flat roll because you'll balance
Okay.
out. So that'll be 2d6 plus your reason.
My
I think
reason's
that's-
not very good.
Not reason,
that's
sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna say present. Sorry, not reason. Presence. I'm gonna say
Fair
presence.
enough.
Yep. Thank you.
That is that's a 9. Sick with
Cool
complication.
complication. And I still have to give Dr. Murdoch his complication in a moment. I've been ruminating on that. Excellent. Let's consult my list. The most interesting story. Let's see. Let's see. The most see, your phrase of the most interesting story is what like it gets me to like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna roll with this one. This seems like the most interesting thing. Yeah. One child steps forward, this young, filthy girl. She says that her name is Jennifer. And she's like, well, I saw something very strange.
Go ahead.
And you see that the other
I'm
kids
very
actually just like
listening.
the other kids actually like kind of like back away from her because they're like they had that like look of no, she does have a good story. Damn it. But she says, I was out back by playing at back by where they found the body and the night before there was there was something in the air and she's like, it was high up in the alleyway. I remember seeing it. It was dark, but I saw it. It was she like fumbles with her words, and then she like just grabs some like chalk from nearby
your
children,
time.
like snatches some chalk from some nearby children playing, and she draws this big spiral with white chalk on the wall, and she says, I saw that. It was hanging in the air, but it was blood. It was like blood in the air in a spiral floating. I saw it. I did. Can I get the ring?
You're very, very brave, and yes, you can.
Yes.
And she just puts it very gently into the little girl's palm. Now you
Excellent.
keep that safe. That belonged to someone very important to me.
And she'll take it happily, like a corvid taking a shiny, just greedily snatches it and runs off. Excellent. And then
So Carla just fed this kid for the rest of this kid's life is what just happened.
Yes, she did.
I am going to give you a condition. This is actually not a condition. Actually, I'm gonna here's your complication. I'm gonna have someone arrive. I'm gonna have an official arrive on the site. You actually look down the
okay.
hallway from you, and you see a police constable, a Bobby, has arrived at the school and is currently talking to the headmaster, Mr. Chesterfield, this broad-shouldered, neatly pressed gentleman with like a wooden truncheon by his side, is like asking the constable a few things. You see that Mr. Chesterfield like nods and points down the hallway at you, and this Bobby turns kind of like a furrowed, suspicious brow, and he begins to walk towards you. Do you hold your ground?
I do. I'm just gently stroking my hair.
He goes, "Good day,
Good afternoon, officer.
Police Constable Lansing. You mind if I ask you a few questions?"
Of course.
Yeah. This won't take too long. Might I ask what you happen to be inquiring about of the schoolmaster and these local children?
Just looking into those dreadful murders. I am part of a small investigation firm. Private.
Murders?
Uh,
What murders?
Uh-oh. Oh, shit.
oh, my deepest apologies. I must be having a flight of fancy. It's quite different air, you understand, than where I'm
No, sorry,
from.
you said murders. Is there something, you know something? Have you heard about any bodies, reports?
Hmm. She kind of just thinks for a moment, rocking her head back and forth. actually, I think I'm going to upgrade my role by putting on a mask.
Oh, okay. Damn it. I was very happy because you just let slip to Police Constable Lansing that there were murders on site.
That's okay.
Fuck.
So
That's
you're going
quite
to do
all right.
that instead. Mask of the Past, Future, or Mask of the Sun?
Let's do the sun.
Excellent. We'll do this, and I think we'll jump to break. We'll do this mask
Okay.
prompt, and we'll jump to break. And I will think of a complication for Dr. Murdoch's clue in a moment. The Mask of the Sun. Each hunter narrates a dream they once had of primordial Earth. Back in time across the ancient seas, back in time when the spirits walked, when the sun was new, and the old gods held court. Actually, I'll tell you what you do. We'll do that when we get back from break. I'll give all my hunters a chance to think of their dreams, and we will go ahead and take a brief intermission, distinguished guests. So stay tuned. We'll be back for more of The Between and an upcoming night phase. See you shortly. And welcome back. So, before we continue, let's have all of our hunters resolve this Mask of the Sun prompt. Who would like to share their primordial dreams first?
I can go. You see a pit, liquid that bubbles, and condensation mixed with some kind of steam coming off of it. And you see what appears to be logs. Logs from that look like giant redwood logs just floating in this primordial pit. And you see a group of people. They seem to be ancient in origin. Ancient. Wearing collections of furs and robes, making their way alongside this pit, giving it a wide berth. You see a small child that is going along with them, is chasing after a leather ball. And it rolls into this pit and floats. And the kid starts making his way towards the pit. And then a adult grabs him, scoops him up, picks him up. And says, in an ancient language, says, "No, do not go near that." And we just notice this small ball rolling in this liquid, and it bumps the side of one of these logs, and you see on the very side of it a large yellow eye opens on the log, and in a quick grab and turn, you see the small ball gone. And then the log surfaces back up.
You see a dark forest, late at night, lit only by a handful of stars and the moon. There is a clearing around a large stone slab, an altar of sorts. And one by one, out from the shadows of the trees, comes people. But their faces are sunken and sallow. Their skin is deathly pale, eyes burning red. Dark hair usually, sometimes red, sometimes brown as well. And they're conversing. They're conversing in this ancient, deep, almost deathly language, speaking amongst each other. And among them, you see a man, tall, with dark black hair. And next to him is a very young girl that looks like Carla.
There is a fish in the water. There is a fish in the water, and it swims. As it swims, it finds a sort of confidence within itself. It does not speak. It swims, because it is a fish in the water. As it approaches land, it swims, because it is a fish in the water. It does not climb out, because it swims, because it is a fish in the water. The newfound confidence pulls. Why does it pull? I'm a fish. I swim in the water. This is what I do. The confidence pulls. He pulls him in deeper and deeper into land. But he is a fish in the water. He does not swim. Or does he? Not anymore. As he approaches the land, he crawls out with these newfound legs, newfound confidence, for he is no longer a fish in the water, but a fish all the same. He retches, he hurls, and out of him comes this small, fleshy, pink body with 2 legs and 2 hands, and it promptly dies. This new body, however, stands. It is a man on land, and it'll walk.
It's the unfathomless dark. It both bears every face in existence and no face at all. It is everywhere and nowhere. And it just simply swirls around one particular blood. And on the floor, in this swirling mass of everything and nothing, there is a very, very worn but recognized symbol of Rivia.
Fantastic. Alrighty. Thank you, hunters. Lovely mask prompt. So, let us wrap up this day phase by resolving a couple more things. Dr. Murdoch, you got your clue of the complication, which the things in sets of 3, and I admit I've been having trouble thinking of a complication. I was thinking of giving you a condition. However, I had an idea, and I'm going to run with it for now. So, as always, remember, you can always put on the Janus mask to have this not happen. But you are alone down here in the cellar of Jenny Johnston's Opium Den, investigating these bodies. A little dank, clustered place, very dark. You hear a shuffling in some darkened cellar hallway adjoining what sounds like little footsteps.
Oh, fuck me, dude. So my complication is that whatever did this might be here.
The complication is I have put you in danger.
Oh, okay.
And,
all right.
You hear these little footsteps. And in addition to that, you can hear your own heartbeat thump 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 thumping harshly in your chest in the sullen quiet. I'm gonna have you roll. Under normal circumstances, I would say day move, but this is a dark cellar. So I'm going to actually have this be the night move. It seems like a heightened danger situation. Facing this is triggering because this is facing something you fear. There is something down here with you and your heart is thumping. Tell me, Dr. Murdoch, what do you fear in this moment?
That's a really good question. The easy answer is dying. But Murdoch feels he's very scared of dying slowly and dying painfully, where it's the feeling like he could do something about this situation, but he is entirely helpless, like a dog, like, you know, like an animal that's being hunted
You're afraid of dying slowly. But it is worse than that. I will say it's worse than that because you will die slowly over the course of quite a while, days maybe, and you will be turned by the Limehouse Lurker. Possibly. I leave that one open, but yeah, possibly turned. So I will ask you, do you wish to hold fast down here for now, or... Oh, actually, you don't get the choice because this is facing something you fear. So you actually don't get the choice to back down, I think. So in that case, I'm gonna have you roll plus composure to kind of like keep a level head so that you can like get out of here.
Okay.
Like leave and not like get like mired down in this kind of situation. Like it's like, yeah, I'm gonna calmly leave. I think that makes sense. So go ahead, this is gonna be plus composure. You actually have disadvantage because of science left you unprepared.
Ah, good.
Yes.
I love that. Oh, my favorite. So that's a 3. My composure is a 1.
A small, starving child, pale of skin, in this darkness, lunges out, clamping sharp fangs into your neck, piercing your jugular, and drinking free of your blood, and with small but strong hands that grab onto your torso, drag you into the darkness to an unknown fate, Dr. Murdoch. It's about time, I feel like, you've gotten the opportunity to do a mask that actually...
Time to look at the fucking masks, sure.
Mask of the past or mask of the future, Dr. Murdoch.
Join us! Join us in the revelry.
Join us, Mr. Murdoch.
Come on in, Cal. The water's fine.
I wanted to go as long as I could without touching a mask.
What's one mask? I have 3. Come on now, don't be a little baby.
And we've already used the Mask of the Sun, right? Is that,
Yeah,
was
it's
that
already
like the
been
only
used.
one that we could
It's
use?
already been
Okay.
used. Yep. That freebie is now expended.
You know what? I feel like this is fitting. I would like to use a Mask of the Future. Am I able to pick which specific one
Yes.
here? Or is this all along the
Mask
list?
of the past is in order. Mask of the future, you can choose any of them.
Okay, wonderful. I was thinking about doing the Cosmic Passage.
Ah, excellent. Meaning you can now talk to ghosts if you ever use the Old Bones move.
I can what?
Yeah, because the Old Bones move, you have to have the Cosmic Passage to use it. To speak
okay.
with ghosts. That's an option that you have. Great. So you check off
the greatest thing that Cal's the one who has that.
Oh, it's incredible.
Narratively, that's amazing.
Bro, there's probably like 50 people yelling at him like when he pulls his shit out of a bag. Just like, put my shit back, bro.
Dr. Murdoch,
Okay.
you may mark the Cosmic Passage that increases your sensitivity by 1. Very fitting. So that is, I believe the mother is actually the only playbook in the Between who does not have a trade-off with the Cosmic Passage. Usually it's like some people have like increase your sensitivity, lower your other score. Some people get, I get a custom move attached to it and all these things. But the mother just gets the bonus. It's because it's kind of, I think the design idea behind that is like, you are so level-headed and reasonable, you are able to not be that altered by enhancing your exposure to the supernatural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you increase your sensitivity.
Cool.
So that will
All right.
bump your night move up to a 7 to 9, which is you hold steady, but there is a complication. I'm going to say that and I get to describe what it looks like. So a complication or a cost. Ooh. I haven't done this reaction yet, so I'm gonna do this now. I apologize in advance, Dr. Murdoch. But I am going to say that in your haste to get out of here as quickly as possible, gather your things and leave, you are going to drop your small knitted bear from your inventory. We're gonna leave it behind.
No.
You no longer have this. I'm going to make you lose an item. So you lose your small knitted bear as you flee
really upset about that, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That is your cost. You lose the small knitted bear from your personal quarters as you flee, but you make it out alive. All right. Well, that's good. That was your complication. Kira, did you want to... you said you wanted to be listening and eavesdropping on the people of the Opium Den?
If I'm managing to kind of go around as if I'm a normal, I'm not anyone different, and no one's really paying too much attention to me, she'd kind of, move around a little bit, choose, I'm going to sit over here. Oh, I think over there's a little more comfortable. Just listening to any idle chatter. I don't imagine there's a ton in here because, people are getting high on opium. And I don't think that makes you very chatty.
This very much sounds like a information move plus your composure. It is you are just trying to keep cool, be unassuming, focus very intently. So yeah.
Do I still have disadvantage on this because of out of your depth, or is this?
I think out of your depth will come into play here still.
I've kind of been locked in this house for a very long time.
Yes. Alrighty, and it doesn't look like any of your personal quarters items can apply here, so this will be a disadvantage.
None of them can give me social skills, so we're just gonna go.
Yep.
Oh, fuck, that dice is on the floor. Hold on. Some normal game if I have
no
dice on the
Jumanji
floor.
rules.
No, not a normal game if you don't throw your dice on the floor, Shelby. Okay, sorry. Ooh. Okay. That was a 9.
Clue with a complication.
Hey.
That's not bad at all.
That would have been awesome if I had been able to just keep the 2 5s I rolled, but it was a 5 and a 3 plus 1.
Alrighty. Yeah. I'm gonna say that. Ooh, these are all very good clues. And you're just listening to the people around the place.
Yeah, I'm not chiming in at all. I'm just listening because I want to hear if anybody says, did you hear about this body?
You hear some hushed, kind of conversations between Opium Den patrons talking about how Charla Bell, the victim who was found behind the Limehouse School, was actually there are some stories that she actually behaved very unkindly towards the children of the school. That's your clue.
Okay. And my complication?
I'm going to give you a third condition, which it feels very apt for all that you've been through in this Opium Den. Let's say that is going to be... help me think of a good word here, because I feel like being high, talking, just the high and the opiate high.
Inebriated.
Intoxicated?
Inebriated, intoxicated, under the influence.
Altered senses.
Altered,
too far gone.
Altered senses is a great wording. I like that. So we're going to roll with altered senses. That's your third condition. Reminder that anytime you'll be asked to take a condition, you will instead have to mark a mask instead. So...
Oh, fuck.
You are in a dangerous territory, Miss Rivia, but that is all right.
I'm always dying. I am always hurt.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm used to it.
All right, and then let's wrap up this day phase with Mr. Fontenot. Investigating the ancient St. James Street, I believe you want to, once more, initiate the answer a question move.
That I would.
All right,
Our
hunters, we are
lovely
now
keeper.
officially in our out-of-character, freewheeling discussion. I take it you want to answer the question of the last available question in this threat, which is how can we get this ghost to pass on to the next world?
Yep.
Let the discussion begin.
What if we ask you politely?
I think that there was a murder in the house that was covered up. It was a murder of a servant girl by the master of the house.
Who threw her down the stairs.
Which
into the
actually, I
mirror.
think we established previously that it was an accidental murder, where it was like a heated domestic
It was
dispute.
a domestic dispute that ended in a
murder,
fight.
in an accidental murder. Absolutely, yes.
It was a crime of passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a crime of passion between two people that I think had an affair.
Because we think of the love
A
letters.
stack of love letters.
Wait, what if the love letters? What if the discovery of the love letters was what led to said attack? Because what if the murderer was not the person they had the affair with? What if it was someone else in the house? If it was like, what if the servant that was murdered was having an affair with the lady of the house? Maybe
That's
Which
what I
means,
was just thinking.
And I was also thinking that maybe perhaps this time around it was a similar thing, because if you note, Mr. Beale had that really strange ledger that he buried in the yard. I think he was trying to placate whoever the affair was happening this time around. Placate with a very, very strange list of things.
Yeah.
Can I throw in? I'm not sure where our heads up. But I want to throw a possible idea your way. Is the ghost the master who murdered the servant? And the accidental murder resulted in him committing suicide. Like he hung himself or something, and he wanders.
Interesting.
And that's because like why the strangulation marks is that it's because he strangled her. His ghost wanders the house.
So there's two.
There's multiple ghosts.
Multiple ghosts.
Well,
So here's the thing. I wanted to present the idea that this is not it's not an active entity that's doing this. It is a replaying of events. It is a residual. A residual act of violence that is being perpetuated by the ghost in the house. It's not the ghost per se. It's not the ghost per se. They're just getting caught in it at the wrong time.
I like where you're going with that. I will say the one complication to that idea is the fact that we had Roger Beale get possessed by the ghost, who it seemed malevolently was messing with you guys. So it seems like there might be. If we can explain, that's not part of the the clue and all that, but if we can figure out like how these ideas can coexist, maybe it's like it does play out, but something has changed to where this ghost has become more violent and active.
I think we can actually tie that in, because if you remember from last time, one of the things that Carla specifically feared was that the ghost knew who she was specifically. What if this started because one of the people within the household decided to get a little more, let's say, close with something they shouldn't have? Became one of Carla's cultists, shall we say?
Someone in the past.
Yeah, long in the past.
Not in the present. Yeah, I was about to say, okay, that's a cool idea. It's like, okay, so, okay. Yeah, because you do have that cult. That might be a cool way to incorporate, because we did speculate on maybe the ghost knows you.
Could be.
Although
Could
it almost be like a purgatory event or something like that, or like a hell event? Because like there is a malevolent ghost, but it's stuck in a loop. It's having to, almost like a punishment. Almost, it's having to live through, and so it has made it more malevolent.
What if?
Oh, we've just kind of like reached a breaking point. Go ahead, Shelby.
Yeah.
What if it's not even entirely the spirit in the house? What if it's the land? Clearly, there is something scary about this house. Something like with just the sheer level of warding that these servants are doing in their quarters to protect themselves. Seems like it's a lot more than just something in the house. They are physically underground. What if it's in the land itself?
I was thinking something a little along the sides of that, something still being in the land. There's a hidden door that was covered by plaster leading to a side room. Did we enter that side room?
Yes. Ross
okay,
did.
never mind.
There was a ghost there. Yeah.
That's right.
For the crying ghost.
Yeah. The crying ghost. Yeah.
I don't think this death was ever reported, whether it be the death of the man of the house who commits suicide or the death of the woman. I think it does have to do with the land, and I think that they are still on this land.
I actually,
like an ancient burial ground.
I think
to remove a ghost, you have to remove that corpse and give.
What if the bones are under the 17th stair, the one that keeps breaking?
There we go. That's a good one. That's a good one.
They did something. They destroyed the body and buried the bones.
We've already used that clue.
Yeah, that's canon. We've already used that clue, so we can't like use it for mechanical benefit. But that is a great idea.
Yeah.
Like
So let's see.
Well, actually, can I actually just throw? It sounds like this is actually very cool. So when we'll look at our list of clues here, and we'll like pick out how these fit exactly. But I think it sounds like there are multiple ghosts in the house, but only one is malevolent, and that's the master's ghost. And that's the master is the one who's been causing all the trouble. Like maybe the crying ghost may have been the servant, the girl.
It feels like
for that matter, Jenny said that she had kind of like saw a fire beforehand. I think that was the servant. Yeah, Jenny Hash. I think that was the serving girl ghost trying to warn her, saying, "You have to get out of here now, or something bad will happen to you."
I was thinking alongside of something like that. That's not only a dark omen, but it is a replaying of events with this domestic dispute that's happened. It's very clear that multiple people are seeing multiple things around this house, especially the cook speaking a different language. Let's say that this family wasn't, from here. They weren't from London. They were like Armenian or something. Possession has been a very big clue. They've been seeing things around this house. Let's say that whenever this murder took place, she was strangled and tossed down the stairs, possibly knocking over a candle or a lamp and starting a big fucking fire.
Agreed.
I wanted to present the idea that instead of a fire was started, a fire is how her remains were destroyed.
Literally about to say that. I was saying
she was burned in order to reduce her to a small enough mass that they could easily hide her
hide her body.
Hide the body. Not report. That's why I'm thinking under that stair. Yeah, we have to take the bones out. I think I think that the angry ghost. I think it might be getting angry that the secret's getting close, because it seemed like everything kicked up when that ledger was dug up. It seems like when secrets started being unearthed, the ghost of the house got pissed and started attacking.
Agreed.
That could explain why, the servant, the maid of the house, got strangled and killed, because she found it. She found like what he was trying to hide, so he fucking killed her. Yeah. And then he came after us once we started uncovering.
Wasn't it the kid's dog that dug up the ledger?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and the ledger was Harold's ledger.
Harold's ledger.
With all those like weird.
Harold Fields.
Which remember, you don't have to necessarily incorporate it into the theory.
Right.
You could just say Harold had some weird shit that has nothing to do with this mystery written in it. Here's the explanation for what this means.
Yeah.
It was a freaky bitch.
Sorry, Carla. Go ahead. I've interrupted you twice.
It's okay. So if we assume that the Beals in general have no idea what's going on about this, the ledger could be just a case of like Roger is a weird man. On the other hand, it could have been requests from Irma, because Irma's in the serving quarters and she knows that you have to placate spirits in weird ways, and so she asked for some really strange things just to try and keep the ghost at bay for as long as she possibly could.
Oh, she was asking
that was warding the quarters.
She was asking him for those things. And oh my god, okay, I'm gonna actually comment on this, because part of Harold's character is he is a Scrooge with finances. He's always like, how will this cost anything? I feel like it's like Irma asked him for a bunch of things, and they're all in his ledger, because he was like factoring, how this is expensive. How much will this cost? And then it got like, and then I think like once maybe this was before Ginny died, like maybe Irma's just always been worried. She's very worried about the ghost, and it actually is canonical to her character. This never came up, and you guys never really roleplayed with her that much, where it was she is actually genuinely afraid to talk about the ghost because she's worried about getting hurt. It could very much be like after Ginny died, Harold Beale's like, oh, I should just put this away. This makes me, I don't want anyone snooping around here and thinking I'm the weird one. Barry's in the garden, but it plays into Irma was maybe she is of some foreign nationality that's like, and she has a language that, one interpretation was that, maybe she's speaking supernatural, but this could just be Irma Thicket was speaking in like a language unknown to the Beals, like because they didn't, they don't speak whatever language she came from.
Yeah. What if it was fucking Spanish, bro? Like
she was just reverting back to her mother tongue as in a better way to protect herself.
Or could have been speaking Latin.
Or it could be
Ooh,
Latin.
well,
Yes, she could have been saying incantations in Latin to protect herself. She could have been speaking in. She could have been speaking in another tongue in order to protect herself.
keep in mind that was. It said, I believe, that she had a. It was a heated argument with an unknown person.
And
so like Alice
almost-
heard a response, like this argument had a call and response.
So
Then-
definitely trying to protect herself from something that was happening right there, right there.
Ghost.
Yep.
I also have an idea for why Roger would be like drawn to this entity without him even coming closer. Children in almost every form of every story are more susceptible to the paranormal. They all like in every case they are like there are so many stories of kids talking to themselves and having creepy conversations. Robert's a child, very easy to manipulate, very easy to dominate, and they're getting too close to the truth.
And
Robert is an
also
easy
he was,
vessel.
and since Roger was also young, but he had that, older appearance. I mean,
He was
Master
possessed by
Ghost.
the master.
The
Yeah,
Master
it was
Ghost,
the
yeah.
master, the old
I also
man.
think that Roger was weaponized because Ross got so close to him and
Agreed.
allowed him to like kind of come in there. Which
I
is
think
why-
that the ghost, I think, also knew that we would be like all of us as a whole would be less likely to attack a child that
of
came
course.
to us.
This ghost, everything we've said here, it sounds like, because like how ghosts have like some kind of trigger that makes them like
Yeah.
act very powerfully. In this case, it was like this ghost seems like we established that the master accidentally murdered a servant woman, burned her body, hid her body, was driven with guilt and hanged himself. And this ghost is sensitive to the act of secrets being revealed. Infuriates it. So in Ross being around when a secret, a hidden journal, even had nothing to do with necessarily the ghost's own secrets, the act of a secret being revealed caused the ghost to lash out, and that's what led to it possessing Roger to attack you guys directly.
Yeah.
You awakened this ghost essentially.
Yep. And since part of this clue also involves trying to placate this, now that we all have kind of assumed this, I think in order to get rid of it, I think we need sacrificial blood, and we have to put the serving girl's ashes into it. I think that's a good first step.
and burn it.
Maybe
We have to burn it.
No,
We need to take her off the property.
take her off the property to get that ghost. That part of the haunting. It's a much more pleasant haunting, perhaps.
Here's a cool idea. Because the quieting ritual is to deal with this master, obviously.
Yes.
So I feel like the servant girl's ghost is not the
threat.
not
no.
the threat.
No.
You can still obviously do this for the sake
Right.
of putting this ghost to rest, but this is like that's secondary to like.
Yeah.
So what is how can we describe what can be done to take the master? The sacrificial blood absolutely can be playing into this somehow. Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go for it. Go
So
for it.
there's the side room.
Yes.
That's where it has to happen. That's where the quieting ritual has to happen.
Yes.
It was probably an area where this servant girl and this master probably
Had their
frequented
affair.
because it was had their affair because it was tucked away, it was hidden. So it has to be there, and it has to be at the time where all the clocks.
Yep. Agreed.
The wrong
And then
time.
Now
he
let's think.
plastered over the door after he covered up the murder and all that.
Yeah.
And I think to jump back really quick, when we mentioned the idea that this was sort of like a purgatory set of events, the reason why the clocks all turned to the same wrong time was because that was the time that this happened. Let's say let's say 12:47 a.m. Just around that time when
It's
shit
when the murder
went sour.
happened.
Yep.
It was 12:47 a.m. at the date that was carved into the mirror. We've already used that clue, but that's something we can tie in.
So
I'm
I
gonna-
think in order to do the quieting ritual, we do still have to mix the sacrificial blood with her ashes as a way of like saying, you died here. This is us making this right. And by doing so, the secret's revealed and the master has to go.
Like, as we return the blood to your bones, you will find new life and you can pass on.
And
Which
use
will
it as
allow her to
protection
move.
against the master.
think we
essentially
also-
using her- yeah.
And how does the
I think
master
we-
get expelled from the house?
I think we need to out his secret. I think we need to I think it needs to become I think that I think that with the sacrificial blood, that will quiet him. But I think that the only way to fully make him leave the house is for the murder to the secret to be public. His secret needs to be out.
Tell Constance's head.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Constance's head will spread that shit like wildfire, dog. That is out.
That is out. That is done.
Yes.
That shit is out.
That is so
amazing.
Good.
So
good.
So does that mean our plan is to go in, find the bones, mix it with blood, and then tell Constance's head?
Well,
that's like our point plan.
So basically, some people have to go in,
I volunteer for the blood.
Get the ashes, get the blood, go down into the basement, mix it in there, and then somebody else, while this is happening, tells Constance's head everything.
I'll put a little spin on this. I think the quieting ritual will need to involve you'll have to obviously the Beals will be present. You have to invite Constance's head, a rumor monger, over. It has to be this big thing, this big it's not necessarily a seance, but you'll use sacrificial blood in the ritual, maybe mixed with her the ashes or the bones that are left behind. That you will and then do this kind of seance-y exorcism ritual that involves telling Constance's head, a rumor monger, and everybody present. That factors into it. That's awesome. So I'm going to go down the list here, and I'm going to look at each of our clues, and we'll think of how we've addressed them that we're using. So Ginny saw a fire that was not there because it was a warning from the servant ghost. That was an ill omen, and also because the servant girl's body was burned after she was murdered. So that one is explained. The heated argument between Irma and the ghost. She's been desperately trying to ward against the ghost herself, speaking in her native language, which seems to be Spanish. The ghost seems to, as it's been maybe it was arguing with her she was the maid. She was it was that kind of repeated conversation. And then that's what that was. Stack of love letters that were found. That was love letters between the master and the servant from their affair. The ledger was just Irma trying to get Mr. Beale to do all of that. Love that. Roger's posture and appearance. He was possessed by an elderly ghost. It was an older man. All the clocks. Time of the murder. Sacrificial blood, obviously that plays into the quieting ritual because you need to mix it with the ashes of the servant girl and utilize it in the ritual somehow. Love that. And then the hidden door was the servant quarter of the murder victim, which was it's where they had their affair, and it was covered up after the murder. That's all. This roll is going to be a 2d6 plus 2. Which hunter would like to make the roll?
Your dice have been very unkind to you.
That's why I kind of want to. That's why I kind of want to do it.
If you want to be chaotic, go ahead.
Let's go.
I want to be chaotic.
2d6 plus 2. Let's do it.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, please.
So it's 2d6 plus 2?
Yep, 2d6 plus 2.
All right. The 13.
Whoa!
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
I rolled an 11.
Mother of God!
Oh my God.
You want to see my dice? You want to see my dice?
I believe you. I believe you.
I believe
When you froze, I thought that I thought the worst.
I would like to.
House is gonna collapse.
I need to remind you all. I need to remind you all of something.
Yes.
On a 12 plus on the answer a question, the mastermind will be present while you're pursuing the quieting ritual.
So we're not just inviting Constance's head. We're inviting the neighborhood.
Well, Theodora Brathwaite is going to be in attendance for this. You are invited. I mean, the ritual works. I mean, the more people who know the secret, the more potent the quieting ritual.
So we invited the entire neighborhood. It's a seance. I mean, those are very popular in the Victorian era.
Right. This is the right time because that's when convents were
super popular, and it's just like a social event. You go to a seance to discuss stuff.
Talking to the dead was incredibly popular back in the Victorian times. So yeah.
To face that up.
So of course we invited the entire neighborhood. Why wouldn't we?
So I'm gonna move us into the dusk phase.
Yeah, sure.
So
sure thing.
all right. So we will. Everyone reconvenes at Hargrave House to prepare for the the night ahead. But before that happens, first of all, Carla, do you have any physical conditions? I think violated and it counts as a mental one, so no physical conditions.
Well, I would say they're both.
Yeah,
mental.
they're both mental conditions, so that doesn't apply to you. But Mr. Fontenot, you have to deal with the quickening. The quickening curse, as always, as the dark takes hold. You need to stave off your transformation from the quickening curse. So go ahead and roll with your choice of composure or sensitivity.
Imagine he, like, the quickening takes over and he, like, fucking eats someone during the seance.
Hold on real quick. I'm just double checking something real quick. You have no, I don't think Sons of Another World is going to affect you in this circumstance.
So I got it's plus composure, correct?
Plus sensitivity or composure, your choice.
Composure, okay.
Yeah, you get to choose sensitivity or composure. So, I mean,
So
the
it's an
same number for you. 8.
Ooh.
Can you read the 8 result?
On a 7 to 9, you manage to keep the quickening in check, but just barely. Take the following condition: drained. On a miss, you're going to lose control. So
You'll take drained. It takes its toll on you, as you stave off the transformation, but you are weakened from it. Do you wish to invoke the Janus Mask to bump that up to a 10, or leave it as drained for now?
I think I'm going to leave it as drained.
Alrighty, very well.
There's a little bit of drama.
Excellent. And I'm going to pick another location in Hargrave House that we get to kind of do a paint the scene question for. Let's see, what is a good one? Oh, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to do the servants' quarters. Which, as a reminder, you have no servants at Hargrave House, so these rooms are empty. The paint the scene question says, these rooms are mostly empty nowadays, as given the place's history, very few people want to work at Hargrave House. They have most frequently been used as a place for trysts between the house's residents. What reminds you of that? Go ahead, Ross.
In a wooden column in the corner of these servants' quarters, where there was probably a lot of rendezvous there. You can see where a Bowie knife has carved in RF and a plus sign, but the initials have been crossed out.
Ooh.
Oh man.
There is a room with a nicer than usual quilt on the bed, and just lining the dresser and the windowsill and the other dresser and the other dresser are flowers and jewelry and beautiful robes and beautiful dresses that have just been left behind.
In the far corner, there is a cleanly kept, very, very well maintained, like it was very, very clean the last time that it was touched, area, but inside the nightstand and the dresser, there's just like an old pair of, well, there's some tweezers, there's an old scalpel and suture kit, very much like the first time that the good doctor came here on a small call, maybe became something greater, something more.
There is one door that is locked. No one knows who has this key. This room has been locked as long as any of you have been here. But there's a few scraps of ripped up paper sticking up under the door. And in barely legible script, you see the word, "Dearest Pyrrha." And the rest is too far under the door for you to see.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Alrighty, as is the setup here, everyone, you each get to go around and in a brief sentence or so, say what your hunter will be doing during this upcoming night phase. It seems like, unless anyone wants to not be part of the quieting ritual, I say you're allowed to be more specific in like what exactly you're doing in this whole party ritual seance thing you're setting up. So we'll go in order of our introduction. So Wes, you start us out first. Oh, you're muted.
So is this in addition to the quieting ritual?
Not like I say it's like more like if we want to get like specific of like what you're doing specifically as part of this, or even like tertiary to something. Just what is I'd say the best way to phrase this is, what is the, like, when you see Ross being involved with this tonight, what is the standout thing he is usually doing? If not the ritual itself, what he's doing on the side while everything else is going on.
Oh, he's keeping people entertained until the moment happens. He's reviling them in stories of the American West, the North Shores of Iceland, the coast of Tulum, the jungles of Tanzania, all these things.
I love that. I'm not gonna obviously request you change that. I think that's actually very good. I will actually say, how about we shift that slightly to be, it's entertained, but also keeping them safe during this.
Safe, exactly.
Safe and of good spirits. So
being
not
a tour guide, essentially. Being look,
love that.
Here.
I love that. And the entertaining also serves the purpose of, you got to be in high spirits so you don't fucking die. Fantastic.
Exactly.
Carla, Meg, what is Carla's focus going to be?
I think Carla is going to be focused on, I think she is similar to Ross, keeping people entertained, keeping people in high spirits, but I think there is a part of her that is also very much trying to invoke the same kind of presence she had during the haunting of if you try anything, there are going to be consequences, and I'm not afraid to protect these people.
You are giving an intimidation. Okay, gotcha. I see it. I love that. Towards the ghost. Towards the ghost, yes. Ross is protecting people by means of keeping them in good spirits and safe. You are protecting them by directly telling the ghost not to fuck with you. Got it.
Yes.
Dr. Murdoch, Jordan, what is the focus of your night phase going to be?
So you mentioned that there was a move that had to do with the Cosmic Passage.
Yes, if you have the Cosmic Passage marked, you have access to the Old Bones move that's now in the reference tab, middle column. When you have the Cosmic Passage marked and you touch, listen to, or otherwise attune to a building's architectural details, you can roll with sensitivity. On a hit, a ghost will appear and answer a single question you pose to it, or perform a small task. You get to choose. And then if you get a 10 or higher, it'll do it, but it just won't ask for anything in return. That's insanely useful.
I think Dr. Murdoch's gonna have to tell the ghost to fuck off once everyone knows.
Or you can talk to them. You can have the maid's ghost show up.
Yeah. You could be leading the seance.
Oh, I could ask the maid to regale what happened.
To tell her own story.
To tell her own story.
Yes.
Then that is
in front of all these people.
Unbridled, unadulterated truth in front of everyone. So Cal's gonna figure out how to talk to a ghost. He's gonna figure out how to talk to ghosts.
I honestly think that with such a high roll, by the way, none of you are gonna have to roll for the ritual itself. Just the components that we've involved here, I will put a roll in. But the ritual is going to succeed regardless. You got to roll 12 plus. You're going to succeed at this ritual. You don't need to make a check for it, but it's going to the parts of it. I will have action rolls kind of come into play here for seeing if anything interesting develops out of it. That's great. And Shelby, what is the focus of your upcoming night move going to be here? Not night move, the night phase.
I would like to be the one gathering all of the components for the ritual. I would like to be the one who collects the bones from the stairs, the sacrificial blood. Also, I had one question.
Yes, what is your question?
Just in case shit gets dicey. It's about my weapon modifications.
Yes.
Once I use that once, am I never able to use it again, or does it recharge every dawn?
So here's how, because there's two factors that your weapons use. As you look on, if you look under the your Hunter's Life move, you have three boxes You have 3 boxes for the when you do the how have I modified my weapon factor. You've checked one of those. Once you've checked all 3 of those, you can no longer do that. In addition to that, you can also check off your dual sabers as just a regular personal quarters item to just regularly check them off. That same applies, but they never.
So like I can make up 3 different things,
Yeah.
but I can invoke those things by checking off my sabers, but I can't make more than 3.
No.
That's what
So
I'm taking
2 different things. So like you have your sabers give you those 3 things you can mark off. You have marked off 1, which is the modification one. Additionally, unrelated to marking off the modifications, your dual sabers also just count as a regular personal quarters item. So if you wanted to use it for just like for some purpose not related to the modifications.
I'm more asking if I can refill the vial of holy water that's supposed to be stashed in the hilt.
Narratively, yes, not mechanically. Like
yeah, that's what I was seeing.
Yeah, narratively, it's in there. It's narrative positioning, so you're good to do that. It's just you won't get the mechanical benefit from it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
That's what I was mostly trying to check.
Yes, Jordan, real quick.
Dr. Murdoch, if you're collecting blood, Dr. Murdoch might ask you to grab about 5 liters for him, just off to the side.
I mean, it was going to be my blood I was going to be collecting.
Oh, your blood. Oh, okay.
So excellent. All right. So
disregard that. Never mind.
Blood, darling, I can help you with that.
So really
Later,
quickly,
David.
everybody has said what they want to do during the upcoming night phase. Does anyone want to revise what they said they're going to do, or are you all committing to your individual things? All right, sounds like
I think we're good.
sounds very good.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think.
Righty then, and we have no other mask prompts to deal with, so let me introduce the unseen, and we'll be good to go.
Unseen.
The unseen is so much
It's
fun.
really
So much
fun.
Which, by the way, distinguished guests, the unseen is a pun. It is spelled Unscene. It is a pun. Unseen. Yeah. This unseen is going to be called Moonlit Mudlarking. The Port of London is one of the busiest in the world, and with so much cargo being loaded and unloaded, the odd crate ends up overboard. The ebb and flow of the Thames deposits this lost cargo up and down the riverbank. Under the light of the full moon, the desperate or optimistic pick through the sucking mud of low tide, stinking of shit and rotting fish in the hope of finding treasure. What debris from industry, trade, or home life is found washed up on the mud banks of the Thames? What does it tell us about the city?
Wait, which one is this again? Which
Moonlit
unseen?
Mudlarking.
Moonlit Mudlarking.
You can control F that if you need to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it.
There is a ring that is washed up among the muck and the trash and the debris. It's small, unadorned, not very interesting. Probably will get picked up by the morning. But for now, it rests amongst the trash. Unloved. Or loved at one point. It's hard to tell. How did it end up here after all, if it was loved?
There is a old rotted net that has a collection of fish and crab that are all dead and gone that have washed up on the shore. That we see some of the desperate pick through, trying to find something that's not too putrid to eat.
I think among
There-
go for
sorry.
it. Go for
No,
it. Go
no,
ahead.
you go ahead.
Among the wreckage of stuff caught within the ropes, is a body that is definitely decomposed after quite some time. Whether or not this body just kind of got caught in the mess, or if this was intentionally, put there, you're not entirely sure. It's definitely missing a few parts of its own. Maybe a ring finger is missing itself, possibly to where that ring probably went to, something along those lines. people are avoiding that one. They're not really getting close to it.
There is a very uninteresting looking bottle that is corked, but the glass is dark, so you'd have to get close to it to see there's paper inside.
Buried treasure, perhaps?
More like perhaps a memory someone wished to forget to throw in such a place.
Very nice. Thank you, hunters. Alrighty. Let me don my glasses once more.
God, we're entering Alex's fucking domain now.
Yes, we are.
Here we go.
But
Tonight.
this night
We
phase
die.
in particular will not derail from the intent. I think this is an excellent setup here. Alrighty. So, let's establish then what happens in this night phase then during this first round. And I'm going to be trying out a formula proposed by Jason Cordova for the night scene. So we're going to give that a go. Ross, you said, so I think we'll establish that, like, everyone, like, the 18 St. James Street stuff is being prepared, like, the word is spreading fast, the hunters are gathering. Ross, what are you doing to prepare?
Ross has put on his finest bowler cap, his finest turquoise inlaid bolo tie, and he is wearing himself, instead of his normal like rough and tumble vest with his, his chambray shirt and things of that nature and his leathers and everything like that, he is wearing a suit that would be common on a Mississippi River paddle boat
Very nice.
casino. It is a deep purple with tails, and there is he's got a bolo tie, he's got a very dark shirt, there is a U-shaped vest with a cummerbund as well, but he is still wearing his boots, his alligator skin boots.
Fontenot, is it? I've heard of you. Oh my, so dashingly dressed in your rustic Americana attire. Constantine, neighbor.
I would have known that was you just from even hearing you walk up upon me, Madam Head.
Oh my.
It is a pleasure and a privilege. And he's going to take her hand and bow deeply and kiss longingly at her
Hey,
hand.
amazing. Carla, how are you preparing? What is it that you're setting up and getting ready for in this affair?
Carla is dressed to the nines. She is in full, gorgeous, full-length gowns and beautiful, beautiful shawl over her shoulders, just in case it gets a little chilly. These things tend to be. So she has jewelry on, but it's very, very old. And you all can see that her necklace is made not of silver or gold, but of bronze. And rings on her fingers are made of almost petrified wood instead of precious gems. And tucked away in one of her pockets is that locket that she sometimes wears. And she walks in, and just for a brief moment, so brief that it's probably only Roger that sees this, a little bit of a veil drops from her face and her eyes burn red.
I think that is phenomenal. Thank you, Carla. Dr. Murdoch, how are you preparing?
I mean, other than possibly finding information about how to actually speak to a ghost directly,
You're attuning, as per the move, you're attuning to the architecture of the house. You're getting a feel for the building to like attempt to speak with a ghost. That's great.
Because he was the last one to show up on the scene, so
Yeah.
he's properly getting familiarized with his land. He's feeling those steps, and as he's kind of like hovering over Pyrrha, gathering the bones and stuff, he just kind of takes everything in.
I love that.
He is with Pyrrha though, like he's like around like that area with her.
I should actually ask as well, like, how is Dr. Murdoch dressed for a seance? Like, this man of science, what's going on with him there?
Out of respect for the dead, he's gonna come properly equipped with maybe just like a nice jacket per se, coming in to like especially with like his tie. Yeah, the jacket's coming on, baby, it's happening.
Very smooth.
Yeah, this isn't so smooth anymore. I was having a hard time getting the arm on. But no, he puts on a nice jacket. He, adjusts his glasses. He really makes sure that if he's going to talk to a specter, a spirit, a ghoul, or something else,
Indeed.
he is going to look the part for it. And
Of
he
course.
is going to approach this as respectful as possible, especially for the servant who didn't deserve what happened to her.
Indeed. I love that. I'm going to make just creepier music for a moment. Love this. Excellent. And then Pyrrha, how are you preparing and getting ready for this upcoming event?
Pyrrha is, first of all, she didn't get dressed up for this affair because fuck that. She looks just as grungy and out of place as she always does with her unbrushed hair, torn and bloodied and burned clothes, scars all showing, and she is just focused on finding these remains, collecting this blood.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
she's hyper vigilant of everything around her, every sound. She is on high alert.
Indeed, the sound of distinct, proud footfalls against the wood floor as you're doing your preparations, and you feel an approach, and you turn, and you see entering the hallway, striding in confidently, curiously, a middle-aged black woman in a luxurious sapphire blue dress, her hair done up in the modern style, and a sizable sapphire choker worn around her neck. And she is mostly says to herself, she says, "Well, this is so exciting. Ah, the young Rivia." She strides forward. "I don't think you and I are acquainted. Theodora Brathwaite. You are Pyrrha, yes?"
Forgive me, I don't think I know your face. And I'll shake her hand just out of respect. My hands are filthy, by the way.
I've heard a great deal of your family, and indeed, Hargrave House. I'm here at this old property of mine to witness something spectacular.
This is
we're
your property.
We're actually gonna cut there for now and go back to the unseen.
Fuck.
Did Cal just see that happen? Or just,
Possibly.
if they're
You're
nearby
aware
each
that
other?
Theodora Brathwaite is now on site, I will say. Everyone is now aware that this woman is present. Back to the unseen. Let's see. I'm going to direct this one to Pyrrha, actually. That feels very fitting. Pyrrha, two youths back over at Moonlit Mudlarking. Two youths come to blows over a case of whiskey with a couple of bottles still intact. As they push and shove in the slimy mud, how do we know this fight is about more than just the find?
Sorry, could you repeat that scenario one more time? My Zoom kind of cut out.
Oh, no worries. So two youths come to blows over a case of whiskey with a couple of bottles still intact. As they push and shove in the slimy mud, how do we know this fight is about more than just the find?
So these two are speaking in a language most people don't know. But Pyrrha knows because it is a, I'm going to say, a Slavic language.
Sure.
It is actually her native tongue that she communicates with her family with. And she hears them say something about.
Well, Pyrrha's not on scene. This is the unseen.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay.
I completely spaced.
You're okay. This is the unseen.
I'm so sorry, I lost completely where we were.
That's okay.
They're speaking in a very thick Slavic language, and they are talking about something golden in a box of green bottles.
I will pry a little deeper for your response, because it says, how is the fight about more than just the find?
My implication was that there was something valuable in the box that they are fighting over who gets.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. There's like a couple like old gold coins in the box that they are trying to fight over.
But how is the fight more than about that? What is under the surface of these two?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, it's totally okay.
Sorry, I'm not on top of it today.
It's okay. What's under the surface here between them?
One of them in their last night of drinking woke up several coins short.
Yeah,
and they have found my implication is that they have found the stash of the other that they took from them.
Interesting.
This is the theft that they have found. Sorry, I'm really not explaining this well.
No, you're okay. It's okay. I get the intent. You're doing totally fine. These young underage drinking youths fighting over stolen liquor with money away from it. I like that. Yeah, I like that. All right. We return to 18 St. James's Street then. All righty. The house is gathered. People are clustered around. Roger Beale is terribly put on in how this is all going to be terribly expensive with all the food and the drinks and Alice and Alice Beale's like, Harold, it's all right, please just calm down. Roger is present, a little drained, but stoked to be around this ghostly business. Theodora Brathwaite striding in the background, watching with a very close, keen eye. I think all of you get to do an action, so I think we're going to follow up on everything that was established before. And I'll start with... So, Ross, how are you entertaining the guests? You're regaling them with stories, you said?
Ross is currently... You can tell his pallor is very pale. He's sweaty. It looks like he might be in withdrawal. But he is currently telling them about the time when he was in northern Oregon, near the great northern in Canada. Now, Oregon was a territory. It's not yet a state or anything. It was a territory. But he was brought up there because there was a mysterious bear that was wandering the area, that was gathering through and taking things and destroying things and eating up people.
Fantastic.
And they needed the phenomenal grappling Ross Fontenot to come up and take care of it.
I love it. Then I think this is going to be, I'm actually going to, normally I'd say, oh, this is a night move. Actually, this is a party scene. It is credited, nothing bad has happened yet. I'll let this be a day move, actually. This is very low stakes. It is, I'll do a day move at night. You can't stop me. Come at me in my DMs, guys. This is going to be a day move plus your presence. It will be disadvantaged because you're drained, I think. Tell me, kind of, what is the what are you afraid of should you fail at keeping the audience entertained and of good spirits? What is the fear here?
I'm afraid that people might see me as a fraud.
Oh, very interesting. That's a very interesting response you just gave me. And were this the night move, I'd pry even deeper on that. But I'll do day move for this. In which case, roll with disadvantage, unless you can argue that one of your personal quarters items would be apt here.
You know what? I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to hold on, because that alligator toe doesn't fit with the story.
Sure.
The big fuck off Bowie knife might be coming.
It's too handy. Fair enough. All right, so go ahead and roll disadvantage then.
Even with that, we have got a 9.
A 9.
So not bad. And it's what am I rolling with?
Plus presence.
Plus presence. I do have a +1, so it is just scrape by with a 10.
All right. We will resolve the dice rolls in the next round. Pyrrha, we'll jump over to you real quick for your acquiring all the supplies. You said you wanted to acquire the bones. Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be my first priority would be removing the bones.
I think that is the strongest element of this. Like, the blood is not the worst thing to obtain either.
Honestly, I probably fucking stabbed myself at Hargrave House and came with the
most likely. So here's what I'm going to say.
Got it right here.
There will be a night. This will be a night move for getting the bones. What are you afraid of happening as you dig up the bones under the stairs?
Kicking off this ghost when I'm not ready.
Oh, starting the conflict now.
Yeah, like it coming on me when I am not ready for it. I don't have my sabers in my hand. I don't have the blood in my hand. I am at my most vulnerable.
It is worse than that because it will fully possess you. Do you wish to... I mean, I ask in vain, but do you wish to continue searching for the bones? Alrighty then. I will have this be not plus reason because because you're not like investigating for the bones. I'll have this be plus composure to act and move quickly, assuredly, and like keep
still
a
at
level
disadvantage
head.
because I think out of my depth absolutely applies here.
Unless you can argue that any of your personal quarters items would come into play here.
I've already used the manual, so I don't think that anything here is going to help me.
Alrighty, go ahead and roll then.
Man.
Plus your composure.
Oh man. I'm nervous.
What did you roll? Is that a 4?
That's me adding it. I rolled a 2 and a 1. Okay.
Fantastic. Then indeed, as you search for the bones, Pyrrha, the ghost is enraged by this revelation of secrets, one so close to its very nature, and a cold wind stirs. You feel a choking grasp around your neck as the spectral form of an angry old master appears in front of you and screams and enters your body as your muscles fight and twist, and you calmly walk to go find your swords.
Can I
invoke the Janus mask?
I'd like to invoke a mask of the future, actually.
Which mask would you like to put on?
I'm thinking the darkened threshold.
Would you like to read the darkened threshold out loud?
Narrate a scene where you killed an innocent for the sake of the hunt. Increase your hunt X count by 1.
Oh, phenomenal. And last week I ruminated on if I wanted to increase your hunt the way you handled Roger. And I think I will. So so you're sitting pretty at of your hunt X is sitting pretty at 2. So I that's very good. All right, cool. Would you like to narrate that scene now, or would you like we can wait until the dusk phase later?
I can make it quick.
Okay, make it quick then. Go ahead.
As this cold chill comes up my spine, it is something familiar. But it's not the call of a ghost. It is a feeling of dread as I am pulling up these boards. And the scene fades as we see Pyrrha, maybe 19, just an adult, but barely one, in close quarters with a being of darkness, smoke, and 1,000 voices. There is a person in its grasp, a screaming woman who is with child. And for all it's worth, this smoke begins to seep into the woman's eyes and mouth and ears. And with no other choice but to save this woman from the fate that she was going to take.
Indeed.
Both of Pyrrha's sabers are lodged into her collarbone, giving her the quickest death that she could. But it still haunts her.
Indeed. We will bump your roll to a 7 to 9, no longer a miss. which means you will do what you intend, but there will be a complication. I will describe what it looks like. We'll address that. Carla. You are, I assume,
I am
speaking to the ghost. Like,
yes, she is.
where are you in
she's-
the house when you do this?
I think she's closer to Roger, actually.
Okay.
And she's kneeling next to him, and she just says, "Oh, don't worry. I think you're going to be just fine. Isn't that right? No trouble being caused. Just a good old time with some friends. Isn't that right?"
I'll have this be a night move plus sensitivity, since your intent here is to reach out to the ghost. What are you afraid will happen should you fail at this task?
She is worried that the ghost will try and possess Roger again.
I'm going to say it's worse than that, because the ghost won't possess anyone, but it will openly manifest and attack all the guests present
Fair enough.
with its powers.
Fuck.
Go ahead and
Oh,
roll plus your sensitivity. However, I think I do think your conditions would get in the way of this. It sounds like
Fair.
you're still feeling violated from the ghost after all.
Yep. That's still not bad though. It's a 9.
9. Alrighty. And lastly, Dr. Murdoch. You walk the halls of 18 St. James's Street, attuning yourself to the architectural features of this old home, and you're going to try and reach out to the ghost of the maid. I will say, like, probably at this time, you're kind of like in like you join like the larger crowds of everybody else, I assume, and you're like, do you actually? I'll ask you. Do you want to do this in private, or do you want to do this in front of several people?
Oh, we're putting on a spectacle.
Excellent.
Dr. Murdoch gently and politely, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, yes, thank you.
Alrighty.
Hello, Constance.
Hello,
he sits on
Dr.
his,
Murdoch. So lovely
Oh.
to see you again.
Miss Head,
You look
Mrs.
so
Head.
dashing in that suit, Doctor.
Oh, and you're
yes.
looking lovely in all the blue.
This is not Theodora. This is Constance.
I know.
Oh, you're saying that?
He's-
Constance is copying Theodora. I'm here for it. She's like, I
100%.
heard I heard Miss Brathwaite was coming, and I couldn't simply be the only one wearing blue, of course. Anyway, yeah, I love that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
and
he sits on his knees, and just kind of like addresses Pyrrha to like start the ritual of like mixing the things together.
Excellent.
And he's gonna call out.
You're gonna use old bones.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the old bones move. Did we ever figure out a name for the mistress?
No, but
With,
we
like,
can.
the love letters
We can
and
yeah, we can absolutely establish one for her.
How do you guys feel about like Lilith as like a name?
Ooh,
To kind
that's a
of
pretty
roll with?
name. I like that.
I feel like that's a pretty name for the character.
Lilith.
Poor woman,
Lily.
yeah.
Lily in the love letters.
Lily.
Lily.
Very well. I love that. Go ahead and okay. So with the old bones, roll plus your sensitivity. I absolutely do think, Dr. Murdoch, that science left me unprepared does get in the way of this.
I don't. They didn't teach me how to do a seance
Unless-
with my PhD.
Do you have anything? Do you have anything you could utilize here for an advantage? I don't think you could argue any of these, unfortunately.
No.
Okay.
Like I was thinking, like possibly the
heart
jar
jar?
with the heart. But it's like, I wouldn't want to use it yet. I think I'm just
Okay.
gonna take the difficulty.
Take the disadvantage. Go for it.
Yeah, we'll take the difficulty with it. So that's a 9.
9. 9's all around.
That is a 9. He calls out.
All right. You will do
Yeah,
so. When
calls
we'll
out
save
for-
that. Let's jump back to the unseen. Let's give this prompt to actually Dr. Murdoch. An older woman picks through the mud, lost in her own world, she does not seem to focus on items of monetary value. What do we see her collect?
So she looks through, she kind of rifles through the... Sorry, hold on, give me just a sec. I have to respond to my dad really quick.
Oh, no worries.
There we go. Most in her world, she's not. She collects stones. She goes through and she finds these tiny, tiny little rocks that just, they look pretty. There's something about the stones that come from the ocean and the sand that it just fascinates her, even with the sand as for lack of better words, icky, as
of course.
the sand that is here with all this wreckage. She holds these stones, and in the other hand she holds the sand in her hands and just kind of gently like watches it fall down almost into a bowl that's just pockets and pockets of mud, liquid, and dirt.
Very well. Let us return. So, Mr. Fontenot, you regale the guests of 18 St. James's Street with this story. You rolled a 10 on your move, so you do what you intend. Describe what it looks like.
So there I was, in the middle of the wilderness, nothing but me, and the Talon here points to the big fuck off Bowie knife, lying in the muck waiting, completely naked, covered in mud, waiting, watching.
People
Then I
lean
heard a
in,
rumbling.
intrigued.
A thump. Dome. My eyes focused on a mud puddle, water in it, ripples effecting from it. Doom, doom, tree branches parting. Everything gets darker, and I realize the beast is right on top of me. It puts one massive paw, the size of a man, over my face. I don't resist. If it put any more ounces of pressure on top of me, I would surely have perished, my head squashed like a grape.
Gasps. Yes, I love this. And now I think as a little capstone here, yeah, overall describe like how like everyone responds after the story concludes, and like what the general, just go ahead and describe that to me.
Oh yeah, they're like they're as he wraps it up. Very big epic moment that makes him look like a hero. Talks about how the people involved there were enraptured with him, gave him bountiful gifts, and he holds up the square handkerchief that he has, and you realize it's not silk or anything, it's a more rough hewn texture. And he says, I still have this to this day to commemorate that moment that I saved these people, and they had enough food to last them for 6 months. Wonderful. And then people are like clapping, And I think we see Roger like over by the stairs, just kind of like looking, kind of staring at it, at him and everything like that. And
Love it.
And and then Ross is just going to say, and if you do pardon me, I'm going to go and check on the rest of our our associates.
I rather love that.
And he's going to turn, and you can see that he was smiling and beaming, but now he is completely dour, and like it looks like he is suffering.
Just showed out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Heading upstairs. Actually, before that happens, I think as you turn around, you feel like an arm stop you for a moment, Ross, and you look over, and Theodora Brathwaite says, "That was a phenomenal story, Mr. Fontenot. Please, if you need a moment to refresh yourself, I have more than capable aids for regaining one's composure, if you should like." And we'll cut away from that for now.
Perfect.
Going upstairs to Pyrrha. Pyrrha, you've cracked open the step. You're collecting the bones. You do what you intend, but there will be a a cost, and I think I'm going to actually have you lose one of your personal quarters items. And what that is going to be, as you're like bent over the stairs, prying them open, reaching in to find an old bundle of bones, you lean a little too far in and you feel something slip out of one of your pockets. The severed finger with the rival family ring falls out and tumbles into the space between the house's walls. Just tumbles off into the darkness. You have lost that item, unfortunately. That is your complication cost.
Well,
you may remove that from
that may cause another haunting, but I guess we'll come back for it.
But you've acquired the bones, and you may go downstairs and begin getting the ashes and blood and everything prepared for the ritual. Absolutely love that. Cool. Jumping over to Carla. You say this to the house, and you feel a cold wind blow, and you say this, and you succeed, but at a complication or a cost. I think what I'm going to have happen to you is, Oh, here's what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. I'm also going to use the remove an item from your personal quarters as well.
Okay.
And it's going to be, the cost here for doing this is, I'm going to be a little flexible in my wording here, which is, as part of doing this, you must essentially give up and sacrifice this ancient Greece drachme that you have as part of using this as a means of commanding the ghost, and essentially this whole tithe ritual thing that you do of just you give up this coin, you give it unto the house itself, you use it as part of this thing, so that item is no longer you no longer have it. It is now gone.
That's fine.
I think that's a cool way to get rid of an item while also elevating what you were going for, but you succeed. You feel go ahead.
She kind of takes one of these coins out and she's flipping it between her fingers, and then you just watch as it slowly just dissolves in her hand as no one's watching.
Indeed, but you do feel a pacification of this ghost being repressed. I love that. And lastly, Dr. Murdoch, in front of all eyes, you summon forth a ghostly apparition of a young serving woman, a maid, Lilith, to much gasps, shock, fear. And across the room, Theodora Brathwaite watches with great interest. And
Doctor holds out his hands and takes Lilith's and sits her down.
She sits down very ghostly. She looks at you intently, and the ghost says, "What do you ask of me?"
Lilith White, you have been harmed, desecrated and burned and hidden away. You've been hidden, and you deserve to have your story told. And it would do a disservice if you were not to tell it yourself. Please, for your own safety and for the safety of others around you, what happened that fateful day? 12:47 a.m. You know the time. You know the day. Talk to us.
She looks at you and she says, "I will tell my story. But first, I yearn to feel loved like that of which I was robbed. Kiss me so that my lips may tell all."
His face goes red, like a tomato.
And if you accept this cost, I will give you the condition, haunted passion. I feel like is a good way to phrase that. Is the condition you will take if you accept Lilith's
oh my gosh
request from the ghost. to kiss
Hey,
this
yo.
spirit.
Hey,
and
yo. Do it.
He stands up, pulls her up, and brings her in, and it starts with an embrace first. And it's warm and it's unfamiliar to Cal himself. The other hunters, what you know about Cal, bro's never even kissed anybody before. He's a bit of a fucking weirdo, you know? Like, so seeing this happen, it's kind of like baby's first steps. And he pulls back and he kisses her, and it's longing and it's passionate.
And it is, but it is all the same. It is terrifyingly supernatural. And after the kiss is parted, you still feel the grave chill upon your lips and that kind of spiritual tingle that you now take haunted passion. But
Nice.
Lilith White,
Okay, cool.
the passive ghost of St. James's Street, will relay her story and reveal all as Pyrrha begins to perform the ritual. And the quieting ritual, you use the blood, you use the ashes, you do what you discussed as Lilith tells her story. And we're going to cut away to our last unseen prompt. And I'm going to give this one to Ross. Several oh, actually, let me change the music first. Several bed-ragged children poke a bloated corpse with sticks. Those who do not double over retching rifle through the waterlogged effects. What last traces of this person's life or death do they run off with?
You see these kids poking and prodding at this dead body. And it gives out a gasp of air as one pokes it real good. And most of them run off, but one kid stops and looks down, looks kind of oddly at it. And it's still wearing trousers. The shirt has been ripped away. The boots are gone. Parts of it have been eaten away by fish and it's just kind of washed up, but there's still the trousers. And you see child bend down, rifle through the trousers, and finds a purple cloth that has something wrapped in it. And they unwrap it, and it's a carving. It is like a wood-whittled carving of a beautiful woman, almost like a mast, like a figurehead on the prow of a ship. And the kid looks at it. And making sure none of his friends are looking, he kind of smells it a little bit. It smells like brine and death and fish. And he wraps it back up in a purple cloth and then puts it in his pocket, and he runs back to join with his friends.
Amazing. And for our final moment of the night phase here, let's do a little denouement, do a little wrap up. I mean, the ritual, we already kind of described it, but in brief, Pyrrha, once more, why don't you just kind of relay what you do during the ritual as the secrets are being revealed? Just kind of, in brief, walk through like what everything she does with the blood and ashes and what that entails.
Pyrrha, having already collected the blood while we were at Hargrave House, with a fresh band-aid from Dr. Murdoch on her hand from her rather reckless attempts at collecting it. She starts with the remains, speaking the name, and then starting to chant in a different language of whatever the ritual would have needed.
Indeed.
Some series of Latin, we'll say.
Indeed. I love that.
And it starts with her dividing a small amount of the destroyed remains to be mixed into the blood, while the rest is set aside to be removed and properly given a place of rest. She stirs it clockwise 13 times. And as each stir makes a revolution, she completes that chant again.
Yes, indeed.
And again. And again. Until the 13th time she stops abruptly. And she's doing this in time to the ghost telling the story.
I love that. And by the time it's completed, There is no grand display of vanquishing. There is just a palpable feeling of, if one could physically feel a candle being blown out. And there's a quiet disappointment from several people, and Constance goes, "What? No floating, screaming, or possession? Well, at least I saw a ghost."
Fucking ghost showed up. Not good enough for you?
I feel like Theodora Brathwaite will approach you, Dr. Murdoch, and she says, "That was a splendid display, young man."
Thank you. Have we met before?
Not formally. Theodora Brathwaite. A pleasure to
Callum
meet you.
Murdoch.
Yes.
He nods and like gives a
I'm
kiss
aware
on the
of
hand.
your work and your work with Hargrave House.
Right.
Indeed. This was fascinating. In a way, I'm
Well,
somewhat sad I sold this property, but, well, all the same, fascinating, was it not?
I believe that all of our decisions will lead up to a certain point. After all, if you had not sold the property, we could not have found it in these circumstances. No?
Indeed. Well, it's not the only property I own, and this was an enlightening experience.
Well, it was lovely to meet you. Perhaps we could meet again sometime and talk.
I'm certain we will, Dr. Murdoch. I'm certain we will. Good evening.
Good evening.
She sees herself out. Yeah. Let's... Ross, Carla, I mean, everyone can chip in here. Yeah, kind of pitch into this little final denouement, wrap-up of the night. Sounds like this is all pretty cut and dry and we're ready to go. And then we will very quickly go through the dusk phase, and then we'll end the episode.
Yeah. I think as Carla's leaving, she pauses for a second. Grant Willingham. Isn't that what your name was?
You just say that
I
to the quiet of the
saw-
house. I love that.
think I saw you. Oh, how many years ago was it? A fitting end for you. A coward's death. And she turns on her heel
Love that.
and leaves without another sound.
I think Ross has been standing outside, kind of catching his breath and everything, and kind of you see he's taking his hat off and he's been wiping his face and everything like that, and he lights a cigar and he just looks at Carla and he goes, "Everything okay there?"
It's gone. It's gone and dead. For real this time. That I can promise you.
Good. He'll offer his arm, the crook of his elbow.
Oh, and she'll take it. Gladly.
You will have to tell me who you keep talking to out in the open like that, Miss Carla.
Many, many, many people. Many people, many times.
I
You
think
have
that,
such interesting stories. Maybe I'll tell you one of mine one day these days.
I think that is the best possible place to end the night phase right there. We don't have any Janus mask prompts left in the air, so all we have to do before we conclude is do a quick couple things from the dawn phase. They're like steps 1 and 2. First time you guys are gonna get this one. You resolve your first threat, everybody. Which means when you resolve a threat, you get access to some rewards. And there are 6 rewards to choose from. Each of you may pick one of these options. I will list these for you. You may get a jar of ectoplasm that you add to your personal quarters. A mirror that always shows a reflection of the St. James's Street ghost that you add to your personal quarters. You may unmark the cosmic passage if it's marked and reverse the effects of its mark.
Nah.
Yeah, you're keeping yours? Okay. And then there are
that.
3 of these, which is you may get a memento from the investigation, ask another hunter what it is, and then add it to your personal quarters. Who wants to take what?
I want to do the memento.
Okay,
Okay.
Who do you want to ask?
Mr. Murdoch, what did we find? That I slipped into my pocket when we were prying open that stairwell?
I'd say. Oh well, while we were prying open that stairwell.
Or could
I imagine that's where I picked this up.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So do you remember that mirror that just about shattered in your face? I was thinking about a shard of that. The numbers that you still recognize along the edges.
The date.
The biggest piece that cracked out of it. I think
Yeah.
that is something that you definitely kept. It is sharp. It is pointy, and most of all, it is very, very reminiscent.
I love that. Yes, and I think that's great. And just, yeah, and also feel free to invent things whole cloth. Like, you know, it doesn't even have to be a thing that happened or occurred. You just be like, yeah, you have this. Well, I love that. That's a great answer. All right, so
the moose head, baby. Let's go.
yes, you take the moose head.
I think after that scene, I think Carla has to take the mirror
You
with
want
the
the mirror?
ghost. With the ghost, I think she has to take it.
Oh,
Then
just
I'm going to add
talking for the rest of
the
time.
context that you looked into the mirror and said that to the ghost as you. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, that's so
Ross
good.
and Cal, what do you want to take from this?
Please go for it.
Grappling Ross Fontenot, as much as I'd like a jar of ectoplasmic goo, it looked really great on my shelf, is going to take a memento, and I am going to ask Shelby, Pyrrha, what does Ross take as a memento from this investigation?
Young Roger comes up to you before you leave, and he extends an old broken toy car to you and asks you to come back.
Aw,
Oh shit!
I love that.
Fantastic.
That's great.
No. Like, wait. Let me revise. Let me revise.
okay.
It's a toy boat. Because
Okay.
he loves
Toy
he's wearing the sailor outfit.
That's great. That's great.
Yes,
Roger's toy
yes.
boat. There you go. I love that. And Dr. Murdoch.
He has the jar of ectoplasm.
Excellent.
Of course he
looks at it-
does.
He looks at
he
it in
does.
his hands, thinking back to the garden a few nights before, the flowers that can die and be revived. He looks at this jar of ectoplasm, shakes it a little bit, and just sees life stirring inside of it.
Fantastic.
Well, fuck.
And with having an idea before, and him continuing to have ideas, a new one has just entered his thoughts.
Ooh.
And he stores that
That
away.
Headed to the child.
Yeah.
Ghost child.
Ghost.
All right, let's very quickly just go over everyone's dawn questions. I'll start with Ross, and we'll answer these, and then we'll conclude. Did the hunters answer a question? Yes. Did you resolve a threat? Yes. Did Ross experience an echo in the night? Did you set one up for yourself?
I did the purple cloth.
Yes, you did. All right. You did experience the
Yep.
echo in the night. Did you stick out in London society? Yes. Oh, you're able to take an advancement now, so you may ruminate on
Yep.
that between sessions. You don't even need to. Yeah, you're all good. Nice. You may uncheck those questions. All right. Dr. Murdoch, you answered a question. Yes.
Yes.
Resolve a threat. Yes.
Yes.
You did experience an echo in the night. The sand in the bowl. That was a great
Yeah.
little echo. With the blood, kind of element. That's very cool. Did you put your hand in a pile of guts? Yes. You have a conversation with
yeah.
a child. You advance. You advance. Someone, if Jason Cordova, I know he's in the chat here on live, if you could clarify, do XP points carry over if you hit your advancement? That's what I want to know. So if it hits 5, but he still has answers to questions, does it carry over or does it stop? Answer that and let us know. But let's go to Carla. Question, yes.
Oh, fuck
Threat
yeah,
resolved,
baby.
yes. Did you experience an echo in the night?
Yes, the ring. The ring that she gave the kids, and then the ring that she found on the ring from the echo in the night.
You didn't.
Oh.
Wait. Did you describe
Yeah.
that in your paint the scene?
When Carla gave during the paint the scene,
Yes.
she described a ring, and then she gave the ring
Yes,
to the
that's
kids.
right. I was going to say, because you weren't in the unseen. No, yes, you were, because you did one of the paint the scenes
I
at the start.
was.
Yes, you
I-
were.
I-
Yes, you were. So yes, that counts. Did you create an over-the-top erotic experience? No. Did you secret?
Last session.
Oh, in the last. Yes, actually, that's very true. That does count. That last session stuff does count. And also, yes, it does carry over. So, Dr. Murdoch, you actually, after this advancement, you will have 1 point of XP.
Oh, let's fucking go!
Hell yeah.
And Ross, did you have any carryover? All right, you may mark that carryover as well after.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and then did you show a vulnerable side to someone? Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
So you also get to mark 5 whole.
So yeah,
Points of
so
XP.
I just get another 2. Okay, that's fine by me.
Yep, amazing. And then lastly, and then we will do advancements at the start of next chapter. Did the hunters answer a question? Yes. Did you resolve a threat? Yes. Did you experience the echo in the night, Pyrrha?
I want to argue yes, because I described the letter with Pyrrha's name on it that was ripped up under the door and then made an allusion to a letter in a bottle in the unseen.
Oh,
I will allow that. I will be generous. I will allow that. Yep. So you
I love
did.
that.
Did you go unnoticed? Yes. Did you revel in the thrill of the hunt?
Not sure if I actually hunted this time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you hunted.
I didn't get violent, so I
No.
would say no for that one.
No. So you get 4 points of XP, which still is enough to level you up, and also you get 1 point of carryover. Also, because that threat was resolved peacefully, technically, it was a quieting ritual. You didn't fight the ghost. It was all handled very. I'm going to actually increase your hunt by 1. That was a peaceful resolution, as in there was no violence ended. So that your counter goes up there. There you go.
Cool.
All right. Distinguished guests, thank you for tuning in this little bit longer than normal episode. Oh, but we were so into that. But we will return next week, same time, same place, for the 4th chapter of The Between, where we will introduce a new threat and see what advancements our hunters take and continue to explore the streets of London. Until then, sleep well and rest easy, for the night is dark and full of terrors. Good night.